Chapter 1559. Outside the Eternal Sacred Palace. My lord, what kind of test do you think the Eternal God-slaying assembly will give? Yu Xiaoxiao gazed at the sacred palace. Everything was unknown. Even as one of the people in charge of building the Eternal God-slaying assembly, she didn't know this. Even she didn't know, let alone the Tomb Realm experts who were only responsible for assembling it. The figure on the throne was silent for a long time. I don't know either. The old man should know a little. But I'm sure it will be very difficult. The old man has tried it before. After he failed and barely kept his life, he didn't want to try again. The Eternal God-slaying assembly is stronger than the demon gods. Furthermore, the Eternal God-slayer we created here is very different from the Eternal God-slayer of the Pure Heaven Palace. The Eternal God-slayer of the Heavenly Devil Supremacy was placed on the Devil's body from the very beginning. It was fused with the soul. But this Eternal God-slaying assembly is different. Its birth took countless years. It has a soul consciousness that doesn't belong to the demon gods. Although the Yama Lord has imbued it with the eternal faith, it's not easy to get its recognition. Hearing this, Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian were stunned. Then how does the Yama Lord know Di can pass its test? Yu Xiaoxiao was confused. Even the Yama Lord himself might not be able to do it. The figure on the throne didn't answer. After a long time, he slowly said, because Di knows some secrets that even the Yama Lord doesn't know. You guys were in contact with Di in the past. Don't you know that Di has an ability to turn the situation around and turn something rotten into something magical? This seems like it. Yu Xiaoxiao's pupils shrank. She probably thought of something. Moreover, the eternal faith at the core of the Eternal God-slaying assembly was left by the Yama Lord. In a sense, the content of the test should be set by the Yama Lord. She might also be testing Di. The figure on the throne chuckled. He probably thought the Yama Lord's action was funny. Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian didn't dare to laugh. How is Lord Songxiu now? Yu Ren Xian asked. Not bad. He's almost recovered. I don't think I'll die. The figure on the throne said lazily. What will happen if this fake Di fails? Yu Xiaoxiao thought about the question Di had asked her before. Will disappear. Disappear into the endless primal chaos. The figure on the throne pondered for a moment before saying, that's what the old man said. When he said this, a rare look of fear appeared in his eyes. It's probably the kind that I would never want to experience a second time. TSK, can you think about it? Would an old man who has lived for hundreds of thousands of years show such emotions? That was a very interesting scene. At this point, the figure on the throne laughed even louder. It was at this moment that dark clouds suddenly rolled in the sky, revealing a ferocious and aged ghost face that let out a low shout. It was as if they were separated by millions of miles. You stinking brat, if you keep laughing, I'll split your butt open. At the very least, I dare to challenge the Eternal Godslayer. Unlike some cowards who don't even dare to challenge me after hearing about my deeds. In an instant, the smile of the figure on the throne stopped abruptly. Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian stifled their laughter. The one who spoke was naturally the oldest demon god of the Dark Demon Realm, Withered Demon God. Central Demon Realm, Clear Sky Palace. In a mysterious space, the celestial demon Venerable sat cross-legged in the void. A mysterious, pitch-black demonic sword floated above his head. Billions of faces flashed across the sword from time to time, as if gathering the darkness and filth of all living beings. Strangely, the pitch-black demon sword didn't emit any evil aura. At this moment, the sword vibrated slightly. The celestial demon Venerable seemed to sense something. He opened his eyes and whispered, "What's wrong? Could it be that you sense that demon aura?" Buzz buzz buzz, the demon sword vibrated, as if transmitting a message. Suddenly, the celestial demon Venerable's body shook. "You're saying that you sensed the aura of your kind. Yama Lord only left behind two eternal belief. You have one. The treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce has won, a demon god accepting the eternal test? The celestial demon Venerable seemed to have thought of something. He shuddered, and fear appeared in his eyes. It was as if he was afraid of losing something. Yama Lord left that for demon god Dai. But he's not demon god Dai. The celestial demon Venerable suddenly stood up. How can he withstand the Yama Lord's eternal test? At this moment, she almost instinctively wanted to rush out. But as soon as she stood up, she paused. A complicated expression appeared on her face. If he's accepting the eternal test, I can't go to him. It'll only have the opposite effect. The celestial demon Venerable took a deep breath and whispered, "Do you think he can pass? Even Yama Lord can't withstand the eternal test in the chaos." As if the question represented the answer, the demon's sword paused for a moment and vibrated for a while. The celestial demon Venerable closed his eyes and suddenly opened them. "You and that god slayer both belong to the same origin. Can you let me enter the eternal test in the chaos? Let me sense his situation." "No. Once you enter, you can't come out," the celestial demon Venerable muttered. A hint of anger appeared in his eyes. The Yu siblings know that he's not demon god Dai, but they still brought him to the eternal sacred palace. Demon god Decay and that mysterious witch. What are they trying to do? Wang Feng disguised himself as demon god Dai. But he was not demon god Dai. A huge faction like the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce could always find many clues and determine that Wang Feng wasn't the real demon god Dai. Just like what demon god Qingluo said. The celestial demon Venerable was furious and irritated. She didn't know what to do if Wang Feng really disappeared in the eternal test. He wasn't Yama Lord or demon god Decay. If he couldn't withstand it, he could still reluctantly give up and come out. The more he thought about it, the more impatient the celestial demon Venerable became. "Why didn't you come directly to the Clear Sky Palace?" The celestial demon Venerable gritted his teeth. "Why did you go to the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce? Something happened, right? Who cares if you can really find information about that demon god Desolate Sea? It's just an excuse to let you come. You're so good at deceiving those girls. You can't even understand this. You deserve it." Wang Feng really deserved it. In this eternal test, he couldn't think of any way to leave. All his thoughts returned to the original place. In the end, he had to find a way to break out of this world and leave this place. Wang Feng felt that a long time might have passed. However, this was a world of chaos. There were no rules of time. It was equivalent to everything being still. Only a while had passed outside? Chaos. Wang Feng once again recalled his own experience of overlooking. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. Wait, this eternal god slaying was left by Yama Lord for Dai. This means that Yama Lord thinks that Dai can be recognized by this eternal god slaying. Why is Yama Lord so sure? Could it be that Yama Lord knows something? Wang Feng retracted his thoughts. From the beginning, he found that he was thinking about everything. Now, he began to ponder. He watched the experience in his head again. Suddenly, he saw something. Yunhai Si, the painting left behind by demon god Dai. The painting about Pangu Axe. I understand. Wang Feng suddenly woke up. Chapter 1560. As if he had just woken up from a dream, Wang Feng recalled everything. In the real, chaotic world, everything was void. No power could cause harm to such a place. One could not walk out, and there were no rules. However, the Pangu axe, as the divine axe that split heaven and earth and split the chaos, had the power to split this chaotic world. And demon god Dai knew about the Pangu axe. Previously, in Yunhai Si, Wang Feng had seen the painting left behind by demon god Dai. It was the painting of the Pangu axe. Yama Lord must know everything, which was why he said that the eternal god slaying was prepared for demon god Dai. Because only the Dai demon god knew how to break through this deathly still chaos. After thinking through the cause and effect, Wang Feng fell silent. At this time, even if he knew, what could he do? The chaotic world isolated everything. Wang Feng could not sense his main body at all. Even if he could sense his main body, he only had the Pangu Axe martial soul. If it was not the real Pangu Axe, could it split this chaotic world? Thinking of this, Wang Feng felt like he was falling from the sky. Wang Feng looked at the dark world. In this chaotic world, living had become a kind of pain. If he had eternal life, it would be even more painful. Wang Feng had never had such an experience. This was the true meaning of chaos. It did not seem like it was created by the chaos origin of the chaos origin demon god. It was like the word eternal. In this world, everything had no meaning. No matter how strong he was, it was useless. In the end, as his soul thoughts scattered, he might even forget who he was. Sigh, that eternal god slaying is indeed not so easy to obtain. This place doesn't look scary. Wang Feng shook his head and sighed. But if I stay here, even I can't withstand the darkness of this chaos. There was not even a person to talk to. Pangu Axe. Pangu Axe. Wang Feng's body flickered with origin light. With a faint flash in his palm, an axe similar to the Pangu Axe appeared in his hand. This was the Pangu Axe that he created according to his memory using the elemental origin. However, it was only 60 to 70% similar. It did not have the charm and power of the Pangu Axe at all. Perhaps I should give it a try. The Pangu Axe to the current me is not that far away. Wang Feng took a deep breath. Yes, the Pangu Axe was out of reach for him in the Douluo world. Even if it was a martial soul, it would have to suffer great damage if it wanted to use it. And it was only a martial soul. Wang Feng had used the Pangu Axe many times. He had a very clear memory of its power and charm. First, I'll create my own origin source model. Using the origin source model, I'll analyze the Pangu Axe in my memories. Then, I'll gather the elemental origins and replicate the Pangu Axe. Even if I can retain 20 to 30% of its charm, I might have a chance to split open this world. I have used the Pangu Axe before, so I might be able to do it. Wang Feng, who was never one to give up easily, began to ponder over this method. There was no other way, since he had thought of the only way to break out of this situation. Even if there were no conditions, they had to create them. In fact, this might even be a chance for him to change himself and step into a whole new level of strength. In any case, there was nothing to do in this chaos world. Wang Feng felt that it was better to find a seemingly impossible path than to have no path at all. Little bookstore. Thinking of this, Wang Feng took a deep breath. His divine ring flickered as divine power gathered around his body. Of the 7 purple origin runes on his body, only the last 2 had yet to light up. His understanding of the origin came from his understanding of the living beings of the world, the universe, and the operation of the world. It could be everything. For example, as the god of food of the god world, Oscar's origin was related to food. Moreover, he had inherited the origin of the previous god of food. However, that kind of origin did not have any combat strength, but it could be used to assist other gods. Zhuqing's divine illusion origin was the origin of the god world's moon god. It could shift one's appearance and completely transform oneself into another life form. Even a demon god would not be able to discover it. Perhaps when Zhuqing first obtained it, she was not that powerful. However, as she cultivated and comprehended it, she would gradually become stronger. Of course, Zhuqing, who had 2 god positions, did not only have the divine illusion origin. Back then, when she had led her companions to escape capture, it was not enough to rely on the divine illusion origin. She also had the powerful wind origin, the most orthodox elemental energy origin in the world. At the same time, the origin was called in the god world and the dark demon world. Perhaps it was in other worlds. For example, the immortal ancient nation where the great emperor was from, or the world where the martial ancestor was from. There were also other names. However, they all led to the same destination. In essence, they were all powers that had been cultivated to the extreme. Logically speaking, it was not time for Wang Feng to create his own origin. For example, the soul demons in the dark demon world needed to reach the level of a demon monarch with 5 sacred demon rings to be able to comprehend it. However, creating one's own origin was different. Just like the experts in the mortal world, there were also geniuses who could create their own god positions and comprehend the initial origin even without having a divine ring. Unfortunately, there were too few such experts. Thinking up to this point, Wang Feng's divine rings gathered. His soul turned into law patterns that surrounded his body. They rose from his feet and formed mysterious symbols that seemed to symbolize the direction of heaven and earth and the changes of the universe. Wang Feng seemed to have comprehended something. In the silence of his soul, his thoughts flew freely, thinking infinitely. This set of models was originally a product of Wang Feng's boredom when he was thinking. It could not be helped. In such a chaotic space, if one's soul did not think, it might get lost and eventually stop and disappear. However, after having the idea of creating his own origin, he continued to comprehend and expand this set of models. Everything in the world, no matter what kind of life form it was, had its own changes. Starting from the tiniest elements, all kinds of different life forms were formed, creating the wonderful diversity of various worlds. By grasping the essence, through deduction and calculation, one might be able to find the differences and characteristics of these life forms. Expand life to all things. It was the same for the origin. The establishment of this set of origin models could be regarded as the analysis of all things in the world and study their root. It was very difficult and it even needed to be perfected continuously. However, Wang Feng did not intend to give up on the things he had created so easily. Moreover, he still needed to rely on this set of origin models and combine it with the elemental origin to see if he could create a Pangu axe that had 20 to 30% of its charm. It was used to split open this chaotic world. As his thoughts scattered, countless law energy patterns began to condense around Wang Feng's body. Finally, they gathered at the center of his eyebrows, forming a triangular prism formed by law energy. White mental energy extended from Wang Feng's soul. Like flesh and blood, it entered the triangular prism. Chapter 1561. The cultivation of the origin was long and boring. In essence, one still had to rely on comprehension. This had nothing to do with the amount of divine power. For example, when Wang Feng awakened the origin tribulation divine king's origin, many comprehensions would automatically enter his mind when he awakened it. After all, it was an inheritance. The origin that he created still needed to be slowly comprehended and cultivated. As for the name, Wang Feng pondered. He looked at the surrounding chaotic world. I comprehended in this chaotic world. Why don't I call it primordial chaos? The moment his thoughts settled, the origin model suddenly bloomed with brilliant light. The name that Wang Feng said represented the laws, power, and everything. Primordial chaos. It was constructed from Wang Feng's countless thoughts, consciousness, and divine power. In terms of combat power, it might not have any combat power. There were thousands of uses for the origin. Even if it had no combat power, it could still be of great use. Its greatest use was to analyze everything. For example, if the primordial chaos divine king's primordial chaos origin was strong enough, then the primordial chaos space could be directly analyzed by the primordial chaos origin and then disintegrate the other party's origin. The meaning of everything was everything that Wang Feng knew in this chaotic space. At the same time, it extended to anything. For example, cultivation technique. Wang Feng could use the primordial chaos origin to analyze the word riddle, and so on. After analyzing, Wang Feng could directly improve it into a powerful cultivation technique that was suitable for more races to cultivate. Wang Feng could analyze any combat method, and so on through the primordial chaos origin. However, different things required different amounts of energy to analyze. Some things that were too complicated and troublesome were also very difficult for the current primordial chaos system. The progress would be very slow. For example, Pengu Act. After the primordial chaos origin was set, Wang Feng immediately began to use it to analyze Pengu Acts in his memory. Almost instantly, countless information poured into Wang Feng's mind like a torrent. Wang Feng didn't find it difficult to deal with this information. He absorbed it like the surface of the sea. The analysis speed wasn't fast. It could even be said to be very slow. However, to Wang Feng's surprise, Pengu Acts could be analyzed. The main reason was that he had used the Pengu Acts martial soul too many times. Every corner and feeling was incomparably clear. However, what he analyzed was the Pengu Acts martial soul and not the real Pengu Act. As for what the real Pengu Acts looked like, one would have to see it with their own eyes and touch it. Only then would one be able to analyze it on a deeper level. The analysis was progressing slowly. Soon, the energy pattern of the Pengu Acts began to appear in the triangular origin model. Wang Feng did not know exactly how much time had passed. In the chaos world without time laws, tens of thousands of years could pass in an instant. It could be an instant or just a second. This feeling was difficult to describe with words, but at a certain moment, Wang Feng finished analyzing. Inside the triangular origin model, a pattern that looked exactly the same as Pengu's Acts appeared. It was made of energy threads. What surprised Wang Feng was that after analyzing the Pengu Acts martial spirit, the triangular shape had doubled in size, which meant that its origin had become stronger. It seems that as the primordial chaos source origin becomes stronger, it will be able to analyze more things. The stronger it is, the faster it will improve. This was natural because in the process of analyzing, Wang Feng's comprehension of the Pengu Acts would increase, and his understanding of the Pengu Acts martial spirit would also deepen. Unknowingly, Wang Feng seemed to have comprehended something. Next, I need to cooperate with the elemental origin and combine the information obtained from the analysis. Let's see if I can use my divine power to create the Pengu Acts, even if it's just the simplest of textiles. The greatest use of the elemental origin was to create. In the past, Wang Feng could use the elemental origin to change his appearance and body shape, and even change everything. However, for those things that he did not understand, even if he had the elemental origin, it was very difficult to easily create them. Even if it was formed, it would only have the appearance and would not have much real ability. But now Wang Feng, who had the primordial chaos source origin, was able to create things with real ability. If Wang Feng had used the elemental origin in the past, it would have been very difficult to create the appearance of the Pengu Act. But now it was possible. Success or failure depends on this. If even this method was useless, then Wang Feng really did not have any other methods. His soul was slightly agitated, so much so that his entire body seemed to be trembling. He called out the elemental origin and connected with the rest of the primordial chaos source origin. The pure white elemental origin poured into the triangular origin model and poured into the energy pattern of the Pengu Act. Absorb. The energy portrait was slowly absorbing the energy. This meant that the elemental origin could really be created. In that instant, Wang Feng could feel a massive amount of divine power being drained from his body. It was extremely fast, but Wang Feng was overjoyed. It was feasible. It was really feasible. I can create the Pengu Acts. Wang Fengxin was very surprised. All of this was because he had the Pengu Acts martial soul. Otherwise, he would not have been able to understand it. Maybe I can use this method. If I use the Pengu Acts martial soul as the foundation, maybe I can create the real Pengu Acts? Could this be considered another kind of materialization? Wang Fengxin's thoughts were flying. But in the next moment, Wang Feng knew that with his current strength, it was completely impossible. The loss of divine power was too fast. When the energy pattern was infused with divine power by the elemental origin, the first thing that appeared was the axe handle. The color of ancient gold revealed a simple and unadorned aura. Perhaps because the primordial system's analysis was not thorough enough, and because his strength was too weak, the elemental origin's strength could not be unleashed. The ancient patterns on the axe handle were very blurry. But it did have a certain charm, and a supreme aura that could break through the universe. Soon, with the loss of divine power, the axe handle was gradually completed. But at this moment, Wang Feng's divine power was almost exhausted. The exhaustion of divine power caused his soul to fear the primal chaos world. But Wang Feng did not give up. The axe blade, even if it's only 1/5 of the axe blade, is enough. As long as I can create the axe blade, there will be a chance. Wang Feng's expression was calm. He did not stop, because there was no way out. The more it was like this, the more he could not retreat. Wang Feng had encountered many such situations and knew that at this time, he should give it his all. The silver light that was like a full moon exploded, and the cold light of the sharp blades splashed in all directions. Boom! When that cold light formed on the handle of the axe, the familiar yet unfamiliar aura made Wang Feng's soul tremble. This was not the Pangu axe formed by the martial soul, but the real Pangu axe. The elemental origin's creation was very rough, but Wang Feng could still feel the ancient aura of the Pangu axe that was only 1/5 of the axe blade. He held it gently in his hand. In an instant, the entire primal chaos space trembled. Without thinking, Wang Feng used all his remaining divine power and slashed the axe toward the surrounding primal chaos space. End of chapter. Chapter 1562. The supreme power of breaking through space was like the vast Milky Way, erupting from the axe blade in this dark and lightless chaotic world. A glimmer of light broke through the endless chaos. Wang Feng was like a traveler in the desert, and the oasis he had been looking for countless years finally appeared in front of him. He first stared at the glimmer in a daze, and the emotions on his face kept changing. Confusion, absent-mindedness, shock, ecstasy, madness. Finally, it was like the sky after a storm, calm. His divine power was exhausted, and the Pangu axe had finally split open this chaotic world. That glimmer of light shone on Wang Feng's body, but there was no warmth. But there was new life. Wang Feng didn't care that his divine power was gone. He used his vitality to forcibly drive the Pangu axe formed by the elemental origin and tirelessly slashed at the surrounding chaotic world. There were more and more glimmering cracks. Wang Feng could clearly feel his vitality draining away. The light shone on his body, but it made his figure wither and old. However, Wang Fengxin didn't have the slightest fluctuation in him. In this chaotic world there was nothing, not even the rules. Wang Feng could no longer calculate how long he had been in this chaotic world, because if he did, it might be a very long number. At this moment, the chaos was broken, as if heaven and earth had just been born. The entire world began to evolve, and with the birth of the light, the increasingly old Wang Feng saw everything in this world. What trapped him was a real chaotic world. Then, if he broke it open, it would definitely be a real world. A powerful world full of vitality. This was more powerful than the world that Wang Feng knew. Moreover, as the light dissipated, the chaotic energy began to evolve. Wang Feng wandered in this chaotic world. As long as he saw a place that was still chaotic and dark, he would slash with the axe without any scruples. After trapping me for countless years, I should at least see what this world looks like after I break it open. This was probably what Wang Feng was thinking now. This newly born chaotic world was like a piece of wood. With every slash of Wang Feng's axe, it slowly turned into a real wood carving, turning into a real world. But Wang Feng wasn't like the owner of the mythical Pangu axe, who evolved the earth after opening heaven and earth. Because, from every slash of Wang Feng's axe, Wang Feng felt a powerful energy, as if a seal had been unlocked, overflowing from a certain place in this world. Then, it evolved into the world of all things. As Wang Feng hacked, he sensed the energy and moved towards that location. After a long time, Wang Feng finally saw the source of this energy. It was a tree. It was a giant tree that was still growing and gradually supporting the heavens and the earth. With each swing of Wang Feng's axe, the primordial chaos was split open, and the ancient tree began to grow. Wang Feng only needed to think for a second to know what this giant tree was. Eternal Godslayer. In order to experiment, he dragged his old body and slowly leaned against the giant tree. The elemental origin surged into his body. Wang Feng's eyes were like a scanner, penetrating the entire tree. He saw everything. "Come out," Wang Feng said calmly. The giant tree swayed gently, as if the entire world was rippling. A young girl appeared at the top of the giant tree. She was wearing a long green dress, and her facial features were perfect without a single flaw. From the perspective of beauty, Wang Feng felt that this was not a beauty that a normal human could have. It wasn't just her facial features. Her skin was as white as jade, and her figure was so perfect that it could explode. In particular, that green dress could not hide the contours of her legs. They were perfectly proportioned. They had surpassed the limits of any human or any other race that Wang Feng had ever seen. With light steps, she moved through the air. As she slowly walked down from the top of the tree, her aura also changed slightly. From an 11 or 12-year-old girl who was bright and cute, to a 15 or 16-year-old girl who was young and beautiful, to a 20-year-old girl who was charming and sexy, to a 30-year-old girl who was mature and graceful. From a cold and fairy-like girl who was like a peerless woman in the 9 heavens, to a seductive and alluring woman who was capable of causing the downfall of a city with her smile, it was as if she was a woman of every age and type. 877 Hao Shu. Wang Feng could see all sorts of changes with every step she took. "She is not human," Wang Fengxin said. This was not a joke, nor was it nonsense. That was because even though the woman was so beautiful without a single flaw, her eyes were staring at Wang Feng as if they were telling him everything. However, Wang Feng's primordial origin could sense that she was not a real human. There was a magical machine inside her body. It was a magical machine structure so exquisite that even Wang Feng had to praise it. "Sigh, it's actually a magical machine." Wang Feng sighed softly. A second of disappointment flashed across his face. Then, he returned to normal. Probably, this was similar to those cough-cough blow-up dolls from his previous life? At this moment, the woman seemed to have noticed the fleeting expression on Wang Feng's face. She suddenly smiled. Her smile was like the most beautiful scenery in the world. It made this newly born chaos world look even more beautiful. "Your expression just now told me that you are very disappointed, Master." Her voice was also like a fairy's voice. Listening to it gave one a sense of beautiful enjoyment. It was as if one could instantly feel the beauty of the world. "You are the eternal God-slayer?" Wang Feng looked at her calmly. His expression did not change. "Master, I didn't expect you to stay in the chaos for so long. After splitting the chaos, your consciousness is still so clear." The woman was like a fairy. A beautiful smile bloomed on her face. She skipped to Wang Feng's side. She did not mind Wang Feng's aged body at all. She leaned on him as if she was meeting her lover. So powerful. These words were equivalent to admitting it. She was the eternal God-slayer. To be precise, she was an intelligent life form in the eternal God-slayer. She was equivalent to an artifact spirit or a system. However, she was very advanced. "Cut the crap." Wang Feng pushed the blow-up doll away. The moment he pushed it away, the smoothness in his hand made even his old body, which had lost its vitality, feel a sense of supreme enjoyment. "Tell me, what do you mean?" Before entering the Eternal Sacred Palace, Yu Xiaoxiao had already hinted that this might be a trap. Wang Feng had already seen through it. It was Wang Feng's own choice to enter. The worst result was nothing more than the loss of this clone. However, Wang Feng never expected that he would encounter a situation even more terrifying than the death of his clone. Loneliness in the chaos. Coexisting with the darkness. Wang Feng could not use words to describe the feeling of loneliness in the endless chaos and darkness with no place to put his soul. No matter how powerful a god was, he could not stay in a dark world without any life for too long. Moreover, it was the kind that could not do anything. Then what was the point of such a god? If Wang Feng had not allowed his soul to think freely, comprehended the primordial origin, and created the Pangu axe, Wang Feng felt that his soul might have been lost. This might even affect his main body. The test, the woman pouted with some grievance. After I was created, she placed me here and then bound me to this chaos world. She said that if I could not break this chaos world, I, the eternal Godslayer, would never be able to activate. Wu Master, you have to know that I was in this chaos world before you, and I have not activated. Whoa. I am so lonely. You haven't activated it, and you haven't even had a consciousness. How can you feel lonely? Wang Feng exposed the latter's lie with one sentence. You were born from the eternal Godslayer after I broke through the chaos, and then your consciousness awakened, and then you began to straighten out your memories. Precise and direct. The woman. In fact, Wang Feng was right. The she you are talking about is the Lord of Hell, right? Wang Feng said with certainty. Since she created you, why does she need an outsider to break through the chaos? The woman was about to speak. Wang Feng waved his pale hand and said, Forget it, you don't need to say any more. Is it because after you were created in this world, she found out that she could not break through this chaos world herself after injecting your soul into it? Or rather, she did not want to break it? Then, as an experiment, she sealed you up. When the outsider broke through, you would awaken and be truly born. The woman. Chapter 1563. She blinked her eyes and looked at Wang Feng with her charming eyes. She giggled and said, Oh, Master is too smart. This is not a good thing for me. You are right. After I was created, Yama Lord connected me to this chaotic world. Then she found that this chaotic world was more stable after being connected to me. With her power, if she wanted to break the chaos and let me wake up with this chaotic world, she would have to pay a great price. Because there has never been a precedent of a god being directly connected to a world, let alone a chaotic world. The woman withdrew her smile and her expression suddenly became incomparably dignified. Her expression was extremely cold. It felt like she had directly changed from a charming and moving demoness to a peerless immortal sitting high above the 9 heavens. This abrupt change in style was so natural for her. It was enough to make any opposite sex have endless desire to conquer. Humph, don't think that you can make me, Yan Mengyao, submit to you just because you broke the chaos and became the master of the eternal god-slaying world. The woman slightly raised her chin, her expression extremely arrogant. Her eyes were even looking at Wang Feng with some contempt. That is absolutely impossible. Wang Feng looked at her. He was silent. From the change in temperament to the change in tone, expression, all at the same time. It could be said that it was extremely real. Even if he knew it was fake, he would not be able to tell. Yan Mengyao, Yama Lord gave you this name? Wang Feng did not seem to be affected in the slightest. How dare you? What kind of existence is Yama Lord? How can you call him that? Yan Mengyao's eyes widened slightly. Her voice was like thunder, full of momentum. What, do you think Yan Mengyao's name is not good? You are disrespecting Yama Lord. Her beautiful face was full of anger. Her legs trembled slightly, and her peaks rose and fell back and forth, outlining an exaggerated arc. That green gauze dress seemed to be about to split open at any time. What is Yama Lord like? Wang Feng glanced at Yan Mengyao and continued to ask. Hearing this, Yan Mengyao was first stunned, then looked at Wang Feng with a shocked face. I didn't expect you to have thoughts about Yamalord? You. After a long time, Yan Mengyao's aura suddenly plummeted. Her cold temperament and high and mighty expression directly collapsed. Then, she let out an extremely seductive laugh. But this is too unexpected for Mengyao. Alright then. Hee. Wang Fengxin asked. What kind of memories and soul had been injected into this inflatable doll by the King of Hell? Almost all the women that Wang Feng could imagine, she could make them come true to life. From a lowly to a queen, from a fairy to a witch, soon, Yan Mengyao changed again. Actually, when you injected your soul into me, you erased some of my memories of her appearance and her appearance. It's just that, the Yama Master probably doesn't fully understand what kind of existence the eternal God-slayer she plans to create is. Yan Mengyao suddenly leaned close to Wang Feng's ear and whispered, when Yama Lord injected this servant's memories, Mengyao had already given birth to a soul. At that time, I already understood Yama Lord. Then you're pretty good. Wang Feng was as still as a mountain. As long as I think she's a blow-up doll, she won't be a real life. Wang Feng thought calmly. Having experienced chaos and darkness, Wang Feng believed that he couldn't be easily tempted. Yama Lord is like this. After Yan Mengyao finished speaking, her expression suddenly changed. There was a faint smile on her face. This smile was not charming, not cold, and not gentle. Coupled with Yan Mengyao's extremely beautiful face, there was only one kind of feeling. Nothingness. Emperor, I haven't seen you for many years. You really didn't disappoint me. In this nothingness, Yan Mengyao's voice sounded softly. As if it was an echo from countless billions of light years away, it made Wang Feng's memory instantly return to the past. This was a kind of voice that could make people believe. It also had an unquestionable sonorous tone. 61 Library. It also contained a kind of unparalleled majesty. Yan Mengyao stood there like a dream, but also like the universe, she was unfathomable. This is Yama Lord? How much has this woman imitated? Wang Fengxin's expression changed slightly. Oh, Yama Lord is really powerful. With Mengyao's current ability, I can only imitate 60% to 70%. Yan Mengyao said with a face of annoyance, and then with a shy and timid expression, like a frightened rabbit facing a big bad wolf, she said timidly, Master, you won't punish me, right? If you want to punish me, you have to be gentle, or Mengyao will be easily broken. It's just the function of an inflatable doll. Calm down, calm down. Wang Feng seemed to think of something. He walked in front of Yan Mengyao, stretched out his old finger, and pointed at Yan Mengyao. Yan Mengyao didn't show any surprise, as if she had been caught by a big bad wolf and was about to be a little rabbit. She subconsciously began to cry. Until Wang Feng pointed at his neck, back, and waist, 3 positions consecutively. In an instant, Yan Mengyao was like a swan that had been shot by an arrow. Her body first stiffened, and then she let out a sad cry. This sad cry was not an act, but a real one. Ma, what did you do to me? Yan Mengyao's face was pale, and she squatted on the ground. There was extreme shock in her eyes. She understood her own body. It was perfect, even more perfect than the demon god's body. That was something that had been tempered and forged with billions of materials from all over the universe. And the other party's 3 fingers didn't have any intention of an energy attack. It was just a light touch. How could it make her feel such severe pain? When your body was made, although it was perfect, it was a pity that there were billions of materials. Even if the person who made your body perfectly avoided the conflict of most of the materials, it's a pity that there are still loopholes. Several materials have been refined and evolved, but there will still be conflicts, and the conflicts are of a transformational nature. When your body changes, such as when you speak, there will be subtle conflicts. Wang Feng's eyes flashed. In the pupils of his eyes, a triangular shape was reflected. It was the primordial origin. Wang Feng stretched out a finger and said indifferently, I'm warning you, don't play with fire on your master. Otherwise, it won't be this simple pain next time. Yan Mengyao was the eternal god slayer. Although Wang Feng now understood the cause and effect, there were still many questions in his heart. This inflatable doll was always like this, constantly changing her temperament and style to tempt him. It was really abominable. Wang Feng felt that he had to teach her a lesson. He had the primordial origin. Even if the other party was the eternal god slayer, she was only the tool spirit of the eternal god slayer. It was not difficult for him to analyze a small part of it. Yan Mingyao's expression kept changing. Finally she said, oh, and then looked at Wang Feng's finger. Suddenly, she stuck out her tongue and licked it quickly. Then, she said seriously, okay, master, what else do you want to ask? Wang Feng. He glanced at Yan Mengyao indifferently, wiped his wet finger on Yan Mingyao's dress, and asked calmly, how long has it been? The chaotic world? Although there is no time rule in the chaotic world, the eternal god slayer has been keeping track of time. According to the normal calculation of time, it should be about one initial wheel. Oh master, you should know. One initial wheel is 10,800 years, one initial wheel is 129,600 years. This is a divine tribulation. However, in the chaotic world, where there is no time rule, this number has no meaning. I'm asking how long has it been in the outside world? The outside world? The dark demon world? Yan Mengyao thought for a while and said with a smile, in the blink of an eye. Wang Fengxin's heart surged wildly. Chapter 1564. In the blink of an eye? 129,600 years. Wang Fengxin did not feel anything. There was no time rule in the chaotic world. It was just a blink of an eye outside. Yan Mengyao was not lying. When Wang Feng's soul was thinking in that world, he only knew that a long time had passed. It was only when he felt a little exhausted that he remembered that he had to leave this world. He did not really cultivate for that long. If he really cultivated for that long, Wang Feng would not be at this level. But it had to be said that in the blink of an eye, Wang Feng's improvement had been earth-shattering. However, to achieve such a change in the blink of an eye, one had to endure the suffering of countless years of soul. After all, it was just a blink of an eye. Wang Fengxin sighed. In the blink of an eye, Wang Feng had comprehended the primordial origin, analyzed the Pangu axe, and finally obtained the eternal mark god slaying. Great benefits were often accompanied by unimaginable difficulties. Master, you've done something that even the Lord of Hell couldn't do. Yan Mengyao clasped her hands together and placed them on her lower abdomen. She didn't dare to make any more movements. Even her flirtatious personality became graceful and gentle, because she could not understand the foundation of her master at all. Although she had just woken up, the eternal marked god slaying was bound to the chaotic world. Wang Feng was in the chaotic world. Everything he did was recorded, including the freedom of his soul and his thoughts. Therefore, Yan Mengyao knew Wang Feng very well in theory. But there were some things she was not clear about. However, she knew very well how Wang Feng had managed to comprehend the primordial origin source and established the primordial origin source. Master is obviously a romantic person. He is also very good at sexual intercourse with men. He especially likes the opposite sex with big breasts. I did not expect that he would be so ruthless to me. Yan Mengyao glanced at Wang Feng. Also, I perfectly fit Master's fantasy of the opposite sex. Why, when Wang Feng split open the chaotic world, she woke up and knew that the eternal mark god slaying already had a master and would not change. She naturally understood the new master and established a friendly relationship with him. However, it did not go well. She could not understand. Because she was perfect, Yan Mengyao knew this very well. The Yama Lord was an expert who would not tolerate the slightest flaw. The blueprints she had given him, especially the blueprints used to create Yen Mengyao, included the data of the opposite sex of countless races. She wanted to ensure that when she was created, any living being who saw her would be smitten with her at first sight. But she didn't know that Wang Fengxin was treating her like a blow-up doll. Wang Feng pondered. The Yama Lord was a peerless expert who could be said to have ruled over the dark devil world for an era. She had connected the eternal god-slaying world with the primal chaos world so that Dli, who knew the Pangu axe, could split it open and obtain it. But why? Why would the Lord of Hell do this? No matter how good Yen Lord's relationship with Di was, it couldn't be to this extent. No, his goal couldn't be that simple. Also, how did she know that Di would return to the Dark Devil world again? No, Dai was definitely dead. Thinking of this, Wang Feng looked at Yen Mengyao. Hades, are you aware of my existence? She was waiting for me, not Di, to split open this chaos world? Because when calculating the time in the Dark Devil world was the same as in the God world. The River Source Book. The God-slaying world had been born hundreds of years ago. Then the establishment of the eternal God-slaying world had also started very early. It might have started before he transmigrated to the Douluo world. No, she might not know of my existence. Could it be related to the system? Wang Feng couldn't tell. During the time when his soul was thinking, Wang Feng had once explored the system. But to no avail. There were no other intelligent life forms in his soul. There was no system. Even the primordial chaos source didn't sense the existence of the system. Either the system might be a powerful life form on par with the Crimson God Heavenly Fox, or even higher, enough that the current Wang Feng couldn't sense it at all. Or, the system was just a program. These programs were stored in certain special places and appeared at certain times. For example, they would only appear at the place where he punched in, and then appear in Wang Feng's mind, giving rewards and reminders. Because as long as he wasn't at the place where he punched in, the system rarely responded to Wang Feng's call, only once or twice. Moreover, it was when he was in the Douluo world. At Wang Feng's level, he could create a life form similar to the system, but he didn't find any traces of the system in his soul. This was enough for Wang Feng to think about more things. Perhaps everything will be clear at the next place where I punch in, Wang Fengxin said with certainty. In any case, there must be some subtle relationship between Yen Lord, Di, and the system. Pangu Axe was the best proof. The system gave him the Pangu Axe martial spirit. Di had at least seen the Pangu Axe, and Yen Lord at least knew about it. Tell me about your role. Wang Feng suddenly looked at Yen Mengyao sharply. Yen Mengyao was stunned at first, then twisted her enchanting body and chuckled. Mengyao is proficient in 18 kinds of martial arts. Of course, I can't compare to Master, but I can meet any of Master's requirements. I think Master's partners can't do it, right? Hearing this, Wang Feng's face darkened, and then he stretched out a finger. Yen Mingyao's face turned pale. She quickly retreated and waved her hand. I say, you already know the role of the Eternal God Slayer before you came. Yen Lord first created the Eternal God Slayer to help the demon god break through the restrictions of the rules, so that their soul and spirit can reach a higher level, thus increasing the strength of the demon god. The Eternal God Slayer is slightly different. In the words of the Dark Demon World, the Eternal God Slayer belongs to the 6th generation of the Eternal God Slayer, and as the 6th generation of the Eternal God Slayer, we are infinitely close to the universe-level life forms. From the perspective of the soul and spirit, we are stronger than the demon god. Yen Lord is an unparalleled genius. According to my memory, any universe-level life form can enjoy the true lifespan of one origin wheel in the universe. Yen Mingyao's tone was rarely solemn. Not everyone can enter the universe. There are billions of worlds in the universe, each world is different, and the rules of time are different. But in the universe, it is the same, so the lifespan in the universe is called the true lifespan. Master, don't underestimate the true lifespan of this universe-level life form. Those god kings in the divine world can live up to 1,000,000 years in the divine world, but in the universe they can't live more than 100,000 years. The longer you live in the universe, the more you can enter a stronger star-field world. Otherwise, you can only draw a circle and seal yourself in a small world, forever unable to advance. So, universe-level life forms are incomparably magnificent and powerful. Wang Feng knew the truth. The divine world was like this. Although the divine world was good, one could live for a long time. But the God King was the limit, it was difficult to break through. Chapter 1565. In the past, countless gods had left the god world in order to break through to the next realm. In the end, almost all of them died somewhere in the universe. Part of their bodies were taken back by the gods of the god world and placed in the god burial blood tomb in the void space domain. The true lifespan in the universe. This was the standard to measure a life form. The true lifespan in the universe could reach origin wheel. Such a life form could casually find a world and change the laws of time. They could live for an endless amount of time. It was not an exaggeration to say that they could live forever. It was just that they could not raise their cultivation level. That crimson god Skyfox was a universe-level life form. Even now, it gave Wang Feng the feeling that it was incomparably powerful. Eternal god slaying is the ambition and goal of Hell Lord. Yan Mengyao said softly, the so-called eternal is not only eternal in dark demon world but also eternal in the universe. Is this possible? Wang Feng frowned. A universe-level life form is only at origin wheel. She is not even a universe-level life form. How can she create such a life form? It is impossible. That is why it is a goal. She named it eternal because I can exist eternally in dark demon world. However, I cannot exist eternally in the universe. I can only be considered a pseudo-universe level life form. I am not even a true one, let alone eternal. Yan Mengyao shrugged and revealed a cute expression. She then looked at Wang Feng playfully. Actually, I feel that as long as I am with Master, it is eternal. Scram. Wang Feng said. Woo-woo, these are obviously the words that I found out from Master's sweet words to those girls in Master's soul, but Master told me to scram. This really makes Mengyao very sad. Yan Mengyao was like a little fairy, looking at Wang Feng with a tearful face. When did I say such mushy words to someone? Wang Feng would never admit it. I actually have a lot of uses for you. Yan Mengyao retracted her expression and immediately said in a dignified manner, I am now connected to the chaos world of this world. I am equivalent to the ruler of this world. This world is very strong. Otherwise, it would be in a state of chaos. Even Yama Lord would not be able to split it open. However, there is a drawback. I cannot become Master's weapon. Yan Mengyao pointed at the huge tree in the distance. This tree represents all the rules of this world. It was split open by Master. However, this world can become Master's weapon, as long as you refine me. Yan Mengyao glanced at Wang Feng shyly. When my soul fuses as one with yours, you can directly use this world as your weapon. When you fight against those demon gods, you can directly suppress the entire world. Countless laws will flow. As long as the demon gods are not at the level of Yen Lord, they won't be able to withstand it. Crude and simple. Also, you can inject your source energy into my body. Just thinking about Master's source energy entering Mengyao's body makes me so excited. Yan Mengyao blushed. That way, I'll be able to use the Eternal Godslayer's true form to strengthen Master's essence to the greatest extent and increase Master's fighting strength. Wang Feng was well aware of this. In any case, I'm much more useful than those 5th-generation Godslayers. Whatever the 5th-generation Godslayer could do, I can do. Whatever the 5th-generation Godslayer couldn't do, I can still do it. In fact, just this world alone already had unimaginable effect. When the time comes, Master, use Mengyao and you will know. Yan Mengyao blinked. Oh. Wang Feng said indifferently. Come with me to take a look at this world first. All right. Yan Mengyao waved her hand lightly, and the eternal Godslayer's true form began to slowly appear in the clouds. Yan Mengyao was right, Wang Feng had already felt it before. The energy of this world was extremely rich and powerful. It might even be stronger than the deity world. A world in a state of chaos that even the Yama Lords couldn't split open. This was enough to show that this world of chaos itself was extraordinary. The more powerful a universe-level life form is, the more powerful their main world will be. At the same time, it can also nurture countless strong beings. Yan Mengyao said softly. This world has the opportunity to help Master grow into a universe-level life form. However, there will be many difficulties. Wang Feng didn't deny it. When the world was born, as the laws descended, the heavens and earth began to have color. 139 Chinese mountains, rivers, grass, trees, the sun, the moon, and the stars like an ink painting appeared in sight. Majestic life force exploded in every corner of the world. Master, do you want to give this world a name? Yan Mengyao thought for a while and asked. A name? Wang Feng pondered for a while. The origin of all things, the ancestor of all worlds, shall be called the ancestral realm. Master, your heart is so big. Yan Mengyao giggled. As she spoke, she glanced at Wang Feng's body. This inflatable little vixen, Wang Feng glared at her. Meng Yao was beside Wang Feng, this old man, and she looked out of place. However, in this newly born ancestral realm, there were no life forms, nor could they see anything. The two walked to a lake, and saw a lively flower floating in the middle of the lake, with a pearl-like flower stem in the middle of the flower bud. It emitted powerful life energy waves. Before the primal chaos, this world had no life forms. As the heavens and earth were born, powerful life treasures began to be born. Yan Mengyao said with a smile. She waved her hand, and the flower in the lake swayed slightly, and the pearl in the flower bud automatically flew to Yan Mengyao's side. Previously, you overdrew the life force of your body to drive the primordial origin. Now that you've swallowed this treasure of heaven and earth containing powerful life force, you should be able to recover part of it. Yan Mengyao tilted her head. When the heavens and earth were born, the eternal God Slayer controlled the primal chaos and evolved all things. These things have not been named yet. However, this world is still producing all kinds of treasures. When the time comes, I'll collect them all for you. Fortunately, you only overdrew the life force of your body, and not your real life. Otherwise, these treasures might not be able to restore you to your original state. Wang Feng nodded. However, he did not swallow the flower heart pearl. After receiving it, he waved his hand gently and put it back in the flower, shaking his head. Even if it's an innate life, it's a waste for me to consume it like this. When it grows, it will be able to achieve great things and become a powerful existence in this world. At that time, won't it be even more useful? If I want to recover my life, I'll drink a few mouthfuls of this lake's spiritual water, and I'll be able to recover a little. Wang Feng was right. The heavens and earth had just been born, and it already had such a strong life force. When it was born in the future, it could be imagined what kind of existence it would be. Yan Mengyao was stunned and looked at Wang Feng in a daze for a moment. While speaking, Wang Feng really drank a few mouthfuls of the lake's water. This water was formed by the primal chaos energy after being split by Wang Feng. It was the real essence. It also contained a strong life force. Otherwise, it could not have nourished the flower. Master, you're right. I'm too stupid. Yan Mengyao's tone was serious, which was rare. She looked at the flower. She thought, what's the difference between me and this flower? Wang Feng did not think too much. After drinking a few mouthfuls of the lake's water, his old face slightly improved. However, he was not in a hurry. It was not difficult for Wang Feng to recover his body and appearance. The key was whether he was as handsome as before after changing back. That was what Wang Feng was more concerned about. Let's go to other places. After Wang Feng left with Yan Mengyao, he continued to travel around this world. The spiritual flower in the lake trembled slightly after the pearl returned to the stamen, as if it had a spirit. Chapter 1566. Clear Sky Palace. No flower demon master stood in front of Sky Demon Venerable. His old body stood upright like a pine tree, his face as solemn as a sculpture. No flower, why are you standing in front of me? In the huge palace, Sky Demon Venerable's body was imposing, but his voice carried a hint of anger. Demon Venerable, are you going to North T Demon Region's treasure trove Sky City? No flower asked in a deep voice. So what if I am? As soon as he finished speaking, Sky Demon Venerable's pupils shrank. How did he know? This old man who had followed Yama Lord for countless years was indeed not simple. She could sense the eternal God Slayer at the eternal sacred hall because she had it herself. But how did he know? Demon Venerable, you can't go. No flower opened his eyes as if he was about to fall asleep. Why can't I go? Sky Demon Venerable said indifferently. I'm just going to inspect the situation in Treasure Trove Sky City to see if there are any new Tomb Realm beings there this year. If that's all you want to know, you can contact Demon God Sangyo directly. There's no need to go to Treasure Trove Sky City personally. No Flower Demon Master glanced at Celestial Demon Venerable. Even if you want to go there personally, I won't stop you. However, if you want to go to the Eternal Sacred Hall in Treasure Trove Sky City, I won't stop you. If you want to go to Treasure Trove Sky City, then forgive me for not agreeing. Sky Demon Venerable was silent. She was concerned about someone and knew how dangerous Eternal Sacred Hall was. Yama Lord had only created 2 Eternal God Slayer sets, one of which was with her, but the one she had was not a complete set. It was a test subject. Even so, she had suffered a lot to obtain this Eternal God Slayer back then, because it was extremely difficult to cultivate Eternal God Slayer. But the one in Eternal Sacred Hall was different. Yama Lord had already set it up and started to create the finished set when the 5th generation God Slayer, which was the exclusive God Slayer, came out. Yama Lord's blood was poured into it. How could it be so easily obtained by outsiders? Other things aside, when Yama Lord finished creating the Eternal God Slayer, he placed it in Treasure Trove Sky City. He asked Demon God Sangyo to look after it. Later, Demon God Sangyo made a bet with Yama Lord, jokingly saying that if he obtained the Eternal God Slayer, Yama Lord could not go back on his word. The Heavenly Demon Venerable knew about this at that time, and she was even accompanying Yen Zhu at that time. That Yama King only replied indifferently, "If you can get this eternal god slaying, I will have no objections." He immediately entered the eternal sacred hall. Then, after a while, he came out. When he came out, his expression was absent-minded and dejected. This old demon god, who could be said to have lived the longest in the dark devil world, was absent-minded. His origin had collapsed, and even his demon god realm had almost fallen. After many years of recuperation, it slowly got better. Furthermore, he did not reveal anything about what he had encountered in the Eternal Sacred Hall. However, he no longer dared to take half a step into the Eternal Sacred Hall. The only thing he said was, "Fortunately, I was able to come back alive." Later on, the Yama Lord told her what was in the Eternal Sacred Hall. "That old bastard Song Lao is ambitious. Unfortunately, it's impossible for him to obtain the Eternal God Slayer. The Eternal Sacred Hall is connected to another Chaos World. Even I can't break through that Chaos World. Without my command, he can only disappear in the endless chaos and eternal darkness. His soul has to endure the silence of not being able to sense anything." The Yama Lord sneered and said to her, "It's true that he lived the longest. But living doesn't mean that he can withstand the silence, nor can he withstand the chaos of nothing. Not to mention demon gods, even those universal-level life forms won't have it easy to bear. After hearing this, the heavenly demon Venerable was filled with fear of the eternal sacred hall. As expected, the eternal god slaying that the Yama Lord had spent so much effort on was not so easy to obtain. Then why did you do this? If no one can obtain the eternal god slaying, what's the point? The heavenly demon Venerable remembered asking herself. The Yama Lord was silent for a while before he said with some vicissitudes of life, "There is a God who can only obtain it. I naturally prepared it for him." "Who?" "Demon God Dai. Only he can break through the chaos." The heavenly demon Venerable remembered this matter deeply. But now, she also knew that the Dai who had entered the eternal sacred hall was not the real Dai. It was the Wang Wu she had missed for a long time. Actually, if one entered the eternal sacred hall with the Yama Lord's password, even if they could not withstand the chaos, they could still come out. But the Yu sisters, or the ancient demonic god, might not tell him. If he was trapped in that place, death was only a matter of time. "No flower, what are you trying to say?" The heavenly demon Venerable said slowly. "You want to go to the eternal sacred hall and save Dai?" No flower demon master lifted his eyelids slightly, his red eyes carrying a sharp light. "Demon Venerable, I don't care what your relationship with Dai is. But you have to know that you have the eternal god slaying and are the successor of the Yama Lord. You bear the responsibility of the clear sky palace. You know what it means to enter the eternal sacred hall. The Yama Lord's password is not omnipotent. Even if you use the Yama Lord's password to come out, your cultivation will be greatly damaged. The decaying demon god is the best example. If anything happens and the clear sky palace has no master, how will the dark demon realm deal with it? Now that the demon gods of the 4 demon realms have been eliminated, it is time for you to show off your skills. Have you forgotten the promise you made to the Yama Lord? And according to the information from the demon army, although we did not find the demon god of Desolate Sea, some void life forms have appeared at the dark borders of the demon realms. The dark whole plane is restless. No flower demon master's words made the heavenly demon Venerable fall silent. Her eyes were slightly perplexed. The Yama Lord was both a teacher and a friend to her. He was one of the few experts she met in the dark demon realm who could get along with her. In human terms, he was her best friend? Although there was a huge difference in status and strength, it was rare for them to have similar views. For this reason, the Yama Lord took her to see the dark demon realm, which was even more magnificent than the god realm. He broadened her horizons and taught her many cultivation methods. After the battle of the gods, probably not long ago, the Yama Lord disappeared in search of the well of reincarnation. He left her to guard the clear sky palace. But the responsibility was great. The dark demon realm was formed by the 9 demon realms, and countless wormholes and worlds were built. Every place on the sacred world ranking was simple. The dark demon realm was very strong, but in the universe it was hard to say. "I will be fine," the heavenly demon Venerable said indifferently. "Can you guarantee it?" No flower demon master looked at him seriously. "If you can guarantee it, I can step aside and let you leave the clear sky palace and go to the eternal sacred hall. If you can't, I cannot let you go to the eternal sacred hall." Could he guarantee it? The heavenly demon Venerable did not dare to guarantee it. Chapter 1567. Her eternal god slaying could easily simulate that kind of chaotic world. She had tried it herself and found that she could not bear that kind of loneliness. Even if she could bear it for a long time, she could not break through the chaos. And that was a simulated chaotic world. It was very different from the real chaotic world. "I want to see him." The celestial demon Venerable did not promise, but he did not retreat either. His voice was sonorous and powerful. Hearing that, Demon Master No Flower knew that he could not stop her. At this moment, demonic shadows flashed in the void. Several armored soul demon warriors appeared in the air. The armor they wore was covered with all kinds of origin patterns. Each of them was a powerful demon master. Just the armor alone exuded an aura that reached the heavens and destroyed the earth. Their helmets, in particular, were carved with the blade of an axe. The demon army. It was the most powerful force in the Clear Sky Palace. It was also the most powerful official representative of the Dark Demon Realm's 9 domains. It was different from the various major forces in the Demon Emperor army. The demon army was much smaller in number. Their role was only to maintain the order of the Dark Demon Realm's 9 domains. In the past, they were the representatives of the Yama Lords. They were also the representatives of power. Even the demon gods who controlled the 9 domains would have some respect when they saw the demon army. However, at this moment these demon army were barely breathing. After they appeared in the air of the palace, they fell directly to the ground. They only muttered a few words in the ancient demon language. Abyss Sea Demon Realm, Eruption. Black Tide, hearing that, Demon Master No Flower and the celestial demon Venerable's pupils shrank. The black tide, the dark boundary formed by the spatial rifts, erupted into chaos. The dark whole plane in the void level began to erode. Those terrifying void life forms wreaked havoc in the starry universe. The spatial rifts in Abyss Sea Demon Realm have always been very stable. They are even more stable than the dark boundary in Qingluo Demon Realm. How could it be? Demon God Huang Hai, that demon beast. Demon Master No Flower's body trembled slightly. It must be him. He obtained that wisp of devil energy and did not enter any other wormholes. Right now, he must still be in our dark devil world. In order to prevent us from finding him, he must have secretly triggered those spatial rifts, in order to disturb our dark devil world and prevent us from searching for him. Anger. Extreme anger. The last time the black tide appeared was many years ago. In the history of the dark demon world, every time the black tide appeared, it meant that countless wormholes in the 9 regions of the dark demon world would collapse, and the 9 regions would fall into chaos. When Demon God Dai was still alive, the demon sovereign army was formed for the purpose of dealing with the black tide. Later on, when the Lord of Hell took control of the dark demon world, many dark borders gradually stabilized. In addition, the Imperial Demon Army also had the Night Demon King, so the black tide almost never appeared. Flowerless Demon Master looked at Celestial Demon Venerable. He could only see a statue-like face without any expression. Demon Lord, a black tide has appeared at this time. Should we go to the Eternal Sacred Hall? Demon Master Wuhua didn't say anything else after that. He glanced at her deeply and disappeared from the palace. I'll ring the godly demon bell first. Dong? An ancient bell rang from inside the Pure Sky Palace. It was like the sound of the evening drum and morning bell, waking up countless experts. Wang Feng and Yen Mengyao traveled around the great desolate land. The more he wandered, the more Wang Feng felt the power of this world. The power of a newborn. Take for example, the chaotic green lotus, the martial soul of Wang Feng's main body, also came from the powerful chaotic world. Later on, it could be divided into countless supreme treasures. In this world, Wang Feng sensed many of these supreme treasures. However, they were still in the state of being nurtured, so they were not strong. But after hundreds of thousands of initial wheels, these supreme treasures would be as strong as the true innate supreme treasures that the chaotic green lotus had transformed into. Of course, Wang Feng understood what this meant. However, it would take a long time to nurture. 163 inches edition, it was the same for living beings. At this time, when the chaos was just formed and heaven and earth were born, the eternal God Slayer, as the heavenly Tao, was at the center of the world and controlled everything. The birth of many lives could not escape the eternal God Slayer's perception. This chaotic world will definitely give birth to an extremely powerful existence in the future. Wang Fengxin was filled with emotion. As the master of the heavenly Tao of the ancestral realm, Wang Feng felt very helpless. If he stayed low for a period of time, even if he didn't materialize the chaotic green lotus or the Pangu axe, who knew how powerful he could become if he guarded this chaotic world? However, the time it would take would probably be an astronomical figure. It was just that there were some difficulties in doing so. Master, how many sons do you think the ancestral realm should have? Yan Mengyao and Wang Feng walked to a certain place and suddenly looked at the sky and asked. Let's start with 10. That won't do. Master, I may have forgotten to tell you, Yan Mengyao said seriously. The eternal God Slayer is connected to this world. I am the heavenly Tao of the ancestral realm, so I am sure that the great Tao of heaven and earth is closely related to your strength. 10 sons is not a burden for the eternal God Slayer to manage, but it won't be easy for you to bear the mighty power of the great Tao of heaven and earth. Why won't it be easy? For example, if you want 10 suns in the sky, you have to have the ability to tear them apart with your bare hands. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to lift this world. This shouldn't be difficult, right? Wang Feng thought about his current strength. Just 10 suns. It's not difficult, but 10 suns is only a small part of the ancestral realm. The sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, everything in the ancestral realm, if you want to bear all of them, it will be difficult for you. As the world becomes stronger, you will have to bear more mighty power. Of course, I will also share part of it for you. After all, I am the heavenly Tao. There was nothing wrong with Yan Mengyao's words. Wang Feng had not considered this point before. Of course, you can also produce and sell your own products. It won't be a problem for you to bring hundreds of thousands of initial wheel experts to the ancestral realm and use the resources of the ancestral realm to improve yourself. However, the ancestral realm is not in the stage of chaos. Now, everything is derived from chaos energy. Time flows. No matter how slow it is, a long time has passed in the outside world. Moreover, when the time comes, we will have to rely on you to support this world. This sentence made Wang Feng fall into deep thought. The ancestral realm was very special because it was connected to the eternal God Slayer. As the heavenly Tao, Yan Mengyao was in charge of the direction of the ancestral realm. But where did the energy of the ancestral realm come from? Wang Feng broke the chaos, and the chaotic energy of heaven and earth derived everything. That was why the ancestral realm was full of vitality today. However, there was a limit to the chaotic energy. To explain the energy of heaven and earth, Yan Mengyao, the heavenly Tao, had to input it. Although Yan Mengyao was the heavenly Tao, her real master was Wang Feng. In essence, she still had to rely on Wang Feng. Wang Feng could treat the ancestral realm as a disposable world and stay there for countless years. When it matured, he could harvest the resources and lives of this world. That was when the chaotic energy was exhausted. The surging energy would disappear and enter the age of chaos. There wouldn't be any more powerful creatures born. It would become an ordinary small world, and it would be useless. Relying on these resources, Wang Feng could easily become a universe-level creature, a greater existence. There were no risks. It would just take time. Endless time. There was another way, which was to keep developing the ancestral realm. When the chaotic energy of the ancestral realm was exhausted, Wang Feng needed to inject more chaotic energy into this world. He needed to maintain the development of the ancestral realm and make it stronger. However, for Wang Feng, he needed to bear the great power of this world slowly becoming stronger. Therefore, Wang Feng did not need to stay in the ancestral realm all the time. He needed to go outside and slowly become stronger. The stronger he was, the stronger the ancestral realm would be. When necessary, he could also plunder the resources of the ancestral realm. At the same time, He could also cultivate powerful creatures in the ancestral realm. Wang Feng felt that fishing in a thirsty pond was not suitable for him. He did not plan to stay in this primitive land where heaven and earth had just been born. Wang Feng explained his thoughts to Yan Mengyao. Yes, as expected of the man Mengyao liked. Yan Mengyao nodded with a gratified expression. Master, don't worry. I will report the situation of the ancestral realm to you from time to time. However, I suggest you return to the eternal sacred palace now. Something big might have happened in the outside world. Wang Feng glanced at her. You know about this too? Of course. Yan Mengyao said with some pride. Master, you underestimate the eternal God Slayer. The moment I woke up, I instantly sensed almost all the God Slayer terminals in the Dark Demon realm. I have the highest authority to let these God Slayer terminals share information with me. The other exclusive God Slayer terminals have to lower themselves when they see me. Wang Feng looked at her arrogant appearance and left the ancestral realm with some doubts. He returned to the eternal sacred palace. Chapter 1568. How long has it been? Outside. Yu Xiaoxiao asked Yu Ren Xian from time to time. Less than 100 breaths. You've asked dozens of times. Yu Ren Xian looked at Yu Xiaoxiao with a serious face. Didn't Lord say that there are no rules of time in there? No matter how long it takes, there won't be much change in time here. At most it will be a while. Brother, do you think he can come out? Yu Xiaoxiao couldn't help but ask. If it's real, then he can definitely come out. Yu Ren Xian glanced at the Lord on the throne. If it's fake, then it should be impossible. The question was meaningless, and the answer was meaningless. But the waiting made him anxious. Even though they had guessed that the other party was not Demon God Dai. Logically speaking, it was impossible for him to come out alive. But thinking about it, this mysterious expert who pretended to be Dai, from Yunhai Pass until now, he had destroyed Demon God Dai and taken Nether River. Every deed was impossible. What if a miracle happened? This feeling had nothing to do with one's position. It was just a feeling for the other party. On the throne, the blurry figure watched quietly. After a while, Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian's expressions changed at the same time. What happened? The figure on the throne frowned and asked. Lord, according to the news from the branch, there's a black tide riot in the Abyss Sea Demon region. Yu Xiaoxiao whispered something that made the figure's expression change drastically. Black tide? Is it confirmed? It's confirmed. Part of the Abyss Sea Demon region has been shrouded in darkness. There's no light. Yu Xiaoxiao's expression was very serious. Her attention on the eternal sacred palace was diverted. Black tide, Abyss Sea Demon region. So, it's that guy from Huanghai. He's really merciless. He has ruled the Abyss Sea Demon region for so many years. I didn't expect him to use such a method to stop the Clear Sky Palace from finding him. In order to break through the demon god realm, Huanghai has resorted to all means. The figure on the throne sneered. He wants our dark demon world to be buried with him? Does he think the black tide can stop the Clear Sky Palace? Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian thought. In the history of the dark demon world, the black tide meant the beginning of a disaster. At least in the history of Dark Demon World, there was no way to solve it. When Demon God Dia was still around, he only managed to stop the spread of the black tide, and then the black tide automatically retreated. It had been so many years. Even if the Dark Demon World had entered the era of magical machines, with the Night Demon King around, most of the black tides could be predicted in advance and minimized the damage caused by such universal disasters. So basically, the black tide had never spread. However, it would be hard to say if a demon god was deliberately spreading the black tide. Don't worry about it. Continue watching this place. Half a day at most. If he doesn't come out in half a day, that Di must have died inside. The figure on the throne did not intend to leave and continued to look at the eternal sacred hall. Yu Xiao Xiao and Yu Ren Xian looked at each other. Since the great master said so, then, it was at this moment that an old voice rang out above the eternal sacred hall. Stinky girl, the black tide this time is not simple. The devil god of desolate sea had set it up in advance. The spreading speed is extremely fast, and those night devil sovereigns guarding the abyss sea devil region disappeared silently. The clear sky palace has rung the twilight demonic bell and issued a demon god order to the other 8 regions, summoning all demon gods to the abyss sea demon realm. Twilight demonic bell, demon god order? Is it that exaggerated? The figure on the throne was stunned, and his tone was filled with disbelief. Nonsense, this old man has already received the demon god order from that heavenly demon venerable. Think about it, if that demon god of desolate sea wants to use the black tide to buy time for him, why would he let the clear sky palace deal with the black tide so easily? The aged demon god's voice rang out continuously. Also, the heavenly demon venerable wants me to go to the eternal sacred hall and awaken this De. Girl, you know the Yama Lord's password. Go inside and awaken him. Since it is the heavenly demon venerable's request, forget about this fake De. Oh! The figure on the throne was stunned again. Then, he looked pensive. No wonder this heavenly demon venerable chose to make a move in the soul demon sacred city. The one who showed up was not De. But I don't want to enter the eternal sacred hall. If you want to awaken him, go ahead. I don't want to go. I don't think I will go back to that place a second time. Stinky girl, you are so useless. A scolding voice rang out from the void. Then take the demon god order and go to the abyss sea devil region on behalf of this old man. This old man does not have much lifespan left. If I go there again, my devil soul will return to heaven. Then don't bother about that heavenly demon venerable's order. She is not the real Yama Lord. If I tell you to go, then go. Why are you talking so much nonsense? The figure on the throne muttered a few times and flew toward the eternal sacred hall. Yu Xiao Xiao and Yu Ren Xian watched, not daring to say anything. Only the aged demonic god could keep a high lord in check. In this vast dark devil world, only half of the Yama Lord could subdue a high lord. The figure on the throne rode the throne filled with devil chi. His entire body seemed to be shrouded in a layer of fog as he flew toward the eternal sacred hall. He was a little hesitant. He seemed to have thought of something bad. When he was not far from the eternal sacred hall, he turned back. He repeated this several times. After struggling for a long time, he gritted his teeth and prepared to step into the eternal sacred hall. But in the next moment, in the majestic eternal sacred hall, the closed pure white door suddenly let out an ancient trembling sound. Following this trembling sound, the entire realm of the gods began to crumble. Cracks appeared in the space. The aura of absolute terror spread out from the gradually opening door. In the void, the aged demon god let out a surprised and doubtful sound. The figure on the throne instantly stopped. The Yu siblings stared at the door in astonishment, their eyes unblinking. A figure slowly walked out from the door. The dazzling white light formed a waterfall of time and space, becoming the background behind the figure. The figure gradually became clear, causing several pairs of eyes to emit a light of disbelief. He really came out? Why do I feel that he has aged so much? Yu Xiao Xiao rubbed her eyes and looked at the figure walking out of the eternal sacred hall. Did he succeed? Or did he fail? Question marks appeared on her head, but she did not know. Not only her, but the owners of the other pairs of eyes were also unclear. In the blink of an eye, Wang Feng looked at the scene outside in a daze for a moment. He seemed to be unable to accept that he had spent so much time in the chaos, but only a moment had passed in the outside world. Who is this? Wang Feng looked at the figure on the throne and frowned slightly. The figure was shrouded in clouds and mist, and only a rough appearance could be seen. It seemed to be a powerful soul demon. However, Wang Fengxin's realm had changed, and he was no longer the same as before. He glanced at the siblings below, as if he already knew everything. Chapter 1569. The Moon Soul Demon, the Power of the Primordial Origin. It should be the demonic god behind the treasure-gathering rock. I reckon that he must have asked the siblings to lure me here, to play tricks on me. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes, and a triangular light flashed in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, the Grand Mist Source was released. The divine power was like boundless chaos, enveloping the entire god's space. Nothing could be hidden from him. The figure on the throne was revealed in an instant. A soul demon. It was a soul demon about 3 meters tall with a rare silvery white skin. Its facial features and body shape were very similar to that of a human. In the entire Dark Devil world, there was only one person with such skin color. He was none other than the Yama Master. Among the soul demons, Yama Lord was a rare moon soul demon. In the history of the Dark Devil world, only a dozen or so moon soul demons had appeared. And this was clearly not the Yama King. Wang Feng had no impression of this soul demon. But now, under the analysis of the primordial chaos source, not only did he know the other party's strength, but he also knew the source of the other party's bloodline, as well as the analysis of the other party's judgment. She's the Yama Master's relative. Based on the strength of her bloodline, her strength, and even the similarity in her aura, she should be the Yama Master's younger sister? Wang Feng stared at the moon soul demon. The triangular shape of his eyes seemed to reflect the universe, and a pattern of the latter appeared in the center of the triangular shape. The fiend's celestial realm had a powerful origins aura. God-slaying Ridge, the 5th generation exclusive to God-slaying. This moon soul demon was very strong. To be honest, Wang Feng had been in the Dark Devil realm for so long, but he had never heard of the Yama Lord having any relative. Perhaps it was because the Yama Lord's halo was too dazzling. Almost no one paid attention to who the Yama Lord's family members were. White-haired, the moon soul demon's silver-white hair made him look more like an elf than a soul demon. In addition, Wang Feng also discovered a special characteristic of this moon soul demon. She seemed very similar to Yan Mengyao. Although their facial features were similar, their temperament and figure were completely different. Moreover, Yan Mengyao was even more perfect than the moon soul demon. Could Yan Mengyao's inflatable doll be based on this moon soul demon? Wang Fengxin said. As for now, the younger sister of the Lord of Hell, the demon god behind the Jubao Pavilion is you, right? Also, you let these 2 siblings lead me here. Wang Feng looked at him calmly. In an instant, the eyes of the moon soul demon on the throne bloomed with astonishment. He saw through my identity. He saw through my illusory demon clouds and saw through my identity. Impossible, the demonic illusion cloud is a cloud of laws that the Yama Lord set up for me. Even a demon god would not be able to see through my identity. The only one who knows my identity is that old man, Song Xiu. How could he see through my identity? You are the real heavenly sovereign? You have the eternal God-slayer? Her voice trembled slightly. What else? Wang Feng took a small step forward and instantly arrived in the void. He stared at the ladder and shook his head in disappointment. His expression was as if he was sizing up the goods, only to discover that he didn't believe in this batch, so he shook his head and said that he wanted to change to the next batch. Almost nothing was said, but the moon soul demon on the throne was enraged. To be honest, as a demon god, he was not easily angered. However, the latter was different. For some reason, the other party's expression infuriated her. It was as if he had hit her sensitive spot. What do you mean? Even if you have the eternal Godslayer, you are not the demon god. What do you mean by showing such an expression? She calmed herself down. The anger in her heart would not be easily detected by outsiders. It doesn't matter whether I am or not. I have the eternal Godslayer, which means that I am the real heavenly sovereign. Didn't your Yama Lord set up the eternal sacred hall for this purpose? Wang Feng said casually. Do you want to know what I mean by shaking my head? I can tell you that it's very simple. Even if you are sitting on the throne and showing such a superior expression, you don't have the aura of a Yama Lord. Moreover, it seems a little ridiculous. How powerful was the primordial origin? Especially when the other party saw Wang Feng appear just now, she was uneasy. Wang Feng directly used the primordial origin to analyze her. After all, the primordial origin itself originated from that set of models. With this analysis, not only did Wang Feng know the other party's identity, it could be said that he had almost grasped everything about the other party. He even knew the other party's weakness. Without needing to make a move, the other party was already at a disadvantage. How dare you? As expected, Wang Feng's words were like adding fuel to the fire. Almost instantly, the Moon Soul Demon on the throne could no longer suppress the anger in her body. The feeling of having the secret deep in her heart poked out was not a pleasant feeling for anyone, let alone a demon god. The moment her voice trailed off, the Moon Soul Demon's eyes trembled, and 9 holy demon rings appeared on her body. Stars seemed to be hidden in her palm, and the powerful origin was still the same. The power of laws circled into countless energies and gathered in the center of her palm. Then, she threw a punch at Wang Feng. The demon god punched with anger. Space cracked, and the massive energy flow turned into a hurricane, blowing the entire realm of the gods until it was unstable. If it had been in the past, Wang Feng would have taken the angry punch of such a demon god seriously. But now I see the primordial origin appeared in Wang Feng's eyes. The triangular prism seemed to be replicated, outlining the void model of this punch. Countless origins and laws were unraveled in the primordial origin in Wang Feng's eyes. This was a special offensive technique that combined the origin power with the true meaning of martial arts from other world. Because there were magical machine circuits flowing inside the fist and palm, there were also some magical machine techniques in it, which served as a powerful amplification effect. If it had been any other demon god, they might not have been able to see through such a powerful offensive technique. Even if they could see through it, they could only take it head-on. However, for the current Wang Feng, it was so simple that he could break it with a flick of his finger. Break! Wang Feng flicked his finger and drew a rune in the air. He faced the origin fist that was coming at him aggressively. His fingertips moved. He did not even use the god power in his body. He only used the energy in the air to casually draw a strange pattern. Then, he pointed at the center of the pattern, and the energy pattern instantly turned into countless similar giant fists and blasted toward the demon god. A look of disdain flashed across the eyes of the Moon Soul Demon on the throne. But the next moment she was stunned. The two fists collided. Wang Feng did not dodge and stood where he was. The giant fists that were casually drawn by Wang Feng disappeared the moment they collided with the origin fist. At the same time, her origin fist that contained extreme anger and powerful origin power shook violently. It was like a balloon that was about to explode. At the moment of explosion, it was as if all the air had been released, and all the energy flowed out. It turned into an endless energy hurricane and scattered in all directions. It was broken just like that? The face of the Moon Soul Demon god on the throne flushed red. Her eyes were filled with disbelief, anger, and shock. With her strength, this punch, it did not even touch the corner of the opponent's clothes. How could it be broken so easily? The opponent did not even move. She did not even feel the aura of the origin. It was as if he had casually moved his finger. This was unacceptable to her. End of chapter. Chapter 1570. The Yu siblings below looked at this scene in a daze and couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. The Lord was not an ordinary soul demon. Although the Lord was not a demon god in charge of the 9 regions, her status and strength were not inferior to any other demon god. In fact, she was even stronger, because the Lord was the general of the Clear Sky Palace's demon-slaying army. The demon-slaying army was a powerful army established by the Yama Lord to protect the order of the dark demon world. Its strength was not to be underestimated. As the general, her responsibility was even greater than that of the 9 regions' demon gods. The general of the demon-slaying army, Qi Lingyan. This was her official title. After the Yama Lord went to search for the Well of Reincarnation, this general left the Clear Sky Palace and traveled the 9 regions. She did not even care about the order of the 9 regions, but she was still the general of the demon-slaying army. Her strength was so great that even the demon gods in charge of the 9 regions did not dare to fight her head-on. Otherwise, she would not be able to bear the position of the general of the demon-slaying army. However, who would have thought that now? He broke it so easily. This demon god Dai seems to have really obtained the eternal god slaying. No, even if he did not show any signs of using it just now. How could he break the Lord's origin King Fist so easily? That's the King Fist with the most profound martial arts. The siblings had followed Qi Lingyan for a long time and knew a thing or two. They were extremely shocked. From this point, they could see that this demon god Dai had really obtained the eternal god slaying, even if he did not use it. But he did not lose any strength. Instead, his every move seemed to contain the mysteries of the universe. Even the demon god's powerful origin power could be easily broken. It was effortless. This battle was completely different from the one they had fought before. What had he experienced in the eternal sacred palace? It was not just the 2 of them. At this moment, the Moon Soul Demon on the throne, the general of the demon-slaying army, Qi Lingyan, could not calm down for a long time. Anger, shock, confusion, and all kinds of emotions flooded into her mind. In a battle between demon gods, one move was often enough to see the depth of the battle. Qi Lingyan could already see that the other party seemed to have seen through her thoroughly. The fact that the other party was able to decipher her moves so easily showed that he was well aware of her emotions and her background. Why? This was impossible. The demonic illusion cloud was a supreme treasure that she had nurtured for countless years, and it was also reinforced by the Yama Master's laws, so it was impossible for any demon god to penetrate the demonic illusion cloud and obtain any information about her. Moreover, even if he knew her identity, how could he know her so well? Qi Lingyan vaguely thought of something. It's the Heavenly Devil Venerable. Did the Heavenly Devil Venerable reveal my information to you? Qi Lingyan spat out each word as she glared at Wang Feng. The words of the demonic god Sangyo just now were very obvious. The relationship between the Heavenly Devil Venerable and this human who was pretending to be Di Yi was not shallow. After leaving the Clear Sky Palace, the only one who knew her identity was the Heavenly Demon Venerable. At the end of the day, that woman was the successor of the Yama King, so she knew him better than anyone else. Wang Feng looked at her strangely. Is it that difficult to know your background? Heavenly Devil Venerable. She only asked me to pay attention to your treasure-gathering rock merchant association. As for you, she has never mentioned it to me. Wang Feng knew that the other party had misunderstood. That's true. When the Grand Mist Origin revealed its edge, the other party wouldn't know that it was the Grand Mist Origin that had done it. Qi Lingyan sneered. Of course, she didn't believe Wang Feng. Because even if the Heavenly Devil Venerable had told him the information, the other party had indeed easily broken her powerful origin King Fist. In terms of strength, although Qi Lingyan was unwilling to admit it, she had to admit that the other party who had obtained the Eternal Godslayer was much stronger than she had imagined. The Eternal Godslayer. Qi Lingyan had no doubt that the demonic god who obtained it, no matter how weak he was, would have a qualitative leap in strength. Moreover, the other party wasn't weak to begin with, so he must be even stronger now. She had attacked just now not only because she was shocked and angry that the other party had seen through her, but also because she wanted to test whether the other party had obtained the eternal Godslayer. Now it seemed that, "You've obtained the eternal Godslayer?" Qi Lingyan sat back on her throne, took a deep breath, and suppressed the various emotions in her heart. "Since you already know, why bother asking?" Wang Feng replied. If the other party didn't attack, Wang Feng couldn't be bothered to either. She was the relative of the Yama king. With this identity, Wang Feng couldn't really kill her because of the eternal Godslayer. "Since you've obtained it, then you are the Dai Demon God." Qi Lingyan looked at Wang Feng. "Do you know why the Yama king left behind the eternal Godslayer and left it here for the Dai Demon God to retrieve?" Wang Feng didn't speak. According to Yen Mingyao's words, it was because the Yama king had connected the Chaos Ancestral Realm with the eternal Godslayer after creating it, resulting in the eternal Godslayer's power. However, because of this, she couldn't break through the chaos, so she left it for the Dai Demon God. She knew that only the Dai Demon God might be able to split the chaos open. The Yama King's original purpose for creating the eternal Godslayer was naturally to upgrade the magical machines and allow the demon gods to truly break through this realm, to become a universe-level lifeform. This was the ultimate purpose of the Yama King's creation of the eternal Godslayer. The eternal Godslayer took the Yama King hundreds of years of effort. It's the Yama King's blood, sweat, and tears. Moreover, this set is complete. You've obtained such great benefits. In this dark demon world, almost no demon god is your opponent except the Yama King. Have you ever wondered why the Yama King created such a terrifying powerhouse? Qi Lingyan stared at Wang Feng, and her tone slowly calmed down. "Do you know what you should do?" "What does it have to do with me?" Wang Feng shook his head. "Since you know my identity, I don't have to hide it. I'm not Dai. Although I'm related to Dai, I'm not the real Dai. To me, the Yama King is still an enemy to some extent. I didn't come to the dark demon world as Dai to help you. As for this place..." Wang Feng looked at the Eternal Temple and couldn't help but laugh. "Do you think that I've received the Eternal Godslayer set from the Yama King because I owe him a favor? Ridiculous. You lured me here because you wanted to use the Eternal Temple to test me. If I don't pass the Eternal Godslayer set, I'll die in there." Wang Feng paused for a moment and continued. "To put it bluntly, the Eternal Godslayer set here is an ownerless treasure. I admire the Yama King for being able to create such a thing, but you asked me what I should do after obtaining it. Sorry, that's my own business. The fact that I didn't deal a heavy blow to you just now was already giving face to the Lord of Hell." Wang Feng didn't think that he had to do anything for the Yama King just because he obtained the Eternal Godslayer set. He pretended to be Demon God Dai and was lured here by the latter to experience the chaotic world in the Eternal Temple. If there was the rule of time in there, then he had experienced the struggle of the initial wheel. After 129,000 years, he finally comprehended the origin, created a simple model of Pangu axe, and barely broke through the chaos. Only then did he get out by luck. Moreover, the origin wheel was really struggling painfully. If he was careless, he would be gone. He obtained the Eternal Godslayer set with his own strength. It was that simple. End of chapter. Chapter 1571. Qi Lingyan's expression froze. She did not expect the other party to be so direct. So direct that she did not know what to say. She wanted to use this point to get the other party to help deal with the Black Tide, or let the other party take over the dark demon world in the name of Demon God Dai and help Yen Lord resist the many unknown dangers. After all, Yen Lord had gone to find the well of reincarnation. No matter how long this news was hidden, it would eventually leak out. If such a powerful person did not appear for a long time, the news would definitely leak out. It would be useless to disguise it. As for the heavenly demon's supremacy, she felt that he was still lacking. Plus, there were some contradictions, so Qi Lingyan did not think that the heavenly demon supremacy could stabilize the dark demon world at this time. However, she did not expect this guy to have the attitude of forgetting the person who dug the well after drinking water. Wang Feng naturally understood the hidden meaning in Qi Lingyan's words. Fortunately, he directly said it. He did not give the other party a chance to persuade him. He planned to go to the Clear Sky Palace to see the heavenly demon supremacy. After asking about the situation, he would set out to find the well of reincarnation. How could he care about the dark demon world? With his purpose of coming to the dark demon world, it would be good enough if he did not cause trouble. Thinking of this, Wang Feng was about to leave. Seeing this, Qi Lingyan's expression changed. She blocked Wang Feng. "You can't leave. You still want to stop me?" Wang Feng raised his eyebrows. "This time I won't hold back. Let this old one do it." At this time, a majestic voice came from the void. "Stupid girl, back off. Let this old one talk to him." The voice of the demonic god of decay came slowly. Wang Feng looked over and absorbed the voice into the primordial origin to analyze the existence behind the voice. In fact, even without the primordial origin, Wang Feng could guess a little. The demonic god of decay. The boss of the Beatty demon domain, the oldest demon god. He was even older than Yen Lord. Wang Fengxin was still very wary of such an existence. The older, the wiser. Qi Lingyan reluctantly backed off. "Do you know about the black tide?" The demonic god of decay's voice came from the void. But Wang Feng seemed to have seen the other party's figure. Under the primordial origin, nothing could escape Wang Feng's eyes. Wang Feng stared at the void and nodded. He had been in the dark devil world for so long, so it was impossible for him not to know about the black tide. That was what happened at the dark border. However, the way the other party addressed him was rather interesting. Wang Feng had already confessed his identity, but the other party still called him Dia. "Since you already know, I'll make it short." Now, the Clear Sky Palace was trying their best to capture Desolate Sea's Fiend Celestial. In order to divert the Clear Sky Palace's attention, demon god Desolate Sea had created a black tide in his Abyss Sea Devil domain. Now, it had spread to more than half of the Abyss Sea Devil domain. The Clear Sky Palace has also issued a demon god command, summoning the other demon gods to head to the Abyss Sea Demon Realm to resolve this matter. But that's not enough. I've been fortunate enough to experience the dark tide. Those void beings won't retreat so easily. You have obtained the Eternal Godslayer, and the Eternal Godslayer is the blood and sweat of the Yama Master. I hope you can help. Hearing this, Qi Lingyan laughed in disdain. This old man, just by saying that, it was impossible to get the other party to agree. "I refuse. What happens to your dark devil world has nothing to do with me," Wang Feng said. "It's good enough that I didn't kick you when you're down." Hearing this, Qi Lingyan laughed. She was so angry that she laughed. "It seems that you still have a grudge against our dark devil world." The voice of demon god Desolate Sea could be heard. Then, he sighed and said, "If that's the case, there's no other way. It's a pity that the heavenly demon supremacy is about to ascend the throne. Coincidentally, 4 demon gods have fallen. It was a good opportunity for her to ascend the throne. After encountering the dark tide, the other demon gods didn't respond to the demon god command. Only she went to the Abyss Sea Devil domain alone to guard this place. I'm afraid she'll end up with her soul and demon destroyed." After saying this, the voice slowly faded away. Wang Feng. The demon god command was a command that only the Clear Sky Palace could issue. Under the command of the demon god command, the demon gods of the 9 devil domains had to obey. But that was a right that only the Yama Master had. Heavenly demon supremacy. That wouldn't do. This old man. Wang Fengxin cursed inwardly. What the other party said was definitely not completely true. but it was doubtful if it was true or false. Especially when the other party said that, "Dark tide? It seems that I have to go and take a look. Heavenly demon supremacy, Bibidon. I'll go and see her situation," Wang Fengxian pondered. Based on what he saw in the Soul Demon Sacred City, the heavenly demon supremacy was very powerful. And according to Yen Mengyao, there were two sets of the Eternal God Slayer. The Eternal God Slayer here was complete. The Yama Master had started to make it a long time ago. But the Eternal God Slayer in the Clear Sky Palace was an experimental product. It was not complete and still needed a long time to cultivate. Seeing Wang Feng pondering, Qi Lingyan knew that it was done. "I forgot that I can use this layer. It seems that this guy and the heavenly demon supremacy have a special relationship." Grandpa Desolate See. What's the saying in the mortal world? The older the ginger, the spicier it is? Qi Lingyan thought. Wang Feng was not in a hurry. Instead, he grabbed the eternal sacred hall behind him. Without any fluctuation of the origin, the eternal sacred hall shrank in an instant, turned into a halo of light and entered Wang Feng's body. "Yen Mengyao, can you now connect to the Godslayer terminal in the Abyss Sea Demon Realm to get the specific information?" After entering the eternal sacred hall, Wang Feng immediately called out in his mind. I knew Master would ask this question." Yen Mingyao's voice rang in Wang Feng's mind. "Master, after you went out, I connected with them and know the situation. I have connected with a total of 3,600 Godslayer terminals in the 5 continents of the Abyss Sea Demon Realm, covering 108,000 cities. I can confirm that the black tide has happened. And the situation is not optimistic. Among the 3,600 Godslayer terminals, only about 1,000 responded. This means that the other 2,000 Godslayer terminals have completely lost the signal. The black tide has covered almost 2/3 of the total area. And Master, the heavenly demon supremacy that you care about the most, I have also contacted the other Godslayer terminals in the Abyss Sea Demon Realm. But the situation is not very good." Hearing this, Wang Fengxian was shocked. He immediately asked, "What do you mean?" "She may be ambushed before she reaches the Abyss Sea Demon Realm." Yen Mengyao continued, "After I connected with the remaining Godslayer terminals in the Dark Demon Realm, I found that a few demon gods are very suspicious. At the same time, the outbreak of the black tide is not only in the Abyss Sea Demon Realm. That is where the biggest outbreak is. The Chaos Demon Realm near the Abyss Sea, as well as the Night Demon Realm. There are also outbreaks of the black tide. But the outbreak seems to be controlled and very slow. But it is spreading toward the Abyss Sea Demon Realm in an encirclement. This means that as long as you enter the Abyss Sea Demon Realm, you will be surrounded by the black tide in at most 1 day." Hearing this, Wang Feng suddenly woke up. The demon god of desolation did not plan the black tide after he got the demon Qi. He planned it before that. To be precise, he planned it together with demon god Seven Firmament and demon god Hunyuan. They planned to give up the demon realm after they got the demon Qi and directly absorb the demon Qi to break through the dark demon realm. Thinking of this, Wang Fengxian felt a sense of crisis. Not for himself, but for the Bibidon. Without any hesitation, Wang Feng moved. End of chapter. Chapter 1572. The vast land was engulfed in darkness. This darkness was not the usual darkness of the sky. It was a dead darkness. No energy or light could survive in this darkness. Abyss Sea Demon Region Border. On a lonely peak in Bikuj, XYZ, Li Yundong was in a daze. The Sky Demon Venerable led the many demon masters behind him. They stood on a demon ship and looked into the distance. Only a black arc could be seen. The Yama Lord had spent a lot of time studying the black tide, and the dark whole plane that exists in the void, the endless darkness. The no-flower demon master was wearing a black robe. His body was slightly hunched as he looked into the distance. She said that it is a special plane formed by dark energy that is very similar to chaos. No living being can survive in that plane for a long time, except for those void beings. Because they do not have a physical body, only a spiritual body, between a demon's soul and a ghost. All these years, the night demon kings guarding the many dark borders have made some contributions. They not only guard the dark borders, but also provide a lot of information to the Yama Lord, so that our clear sky palace can develop magical machines to deal with the dark hole plane. The no-flower demon master's voice was fleeting, but it made the sky demon venerable feel a chill in his heart. But the information brought back by the night demon king has found that these void beings can also evolve. It is more and more difficult for them to guard the dark borders. The death rate is increasing year by year, and the number of night demon kings has been decreasing. Although it is a very small number, the Yama Lord has always had a plan for the Black Tide. As the nominal ruler of the dark demon world, he would not be unguarded against unknown dangers. The night demon king was only on the surface. It was the kind that the public knew. You mean? The sky demon venerable frowned slightly, his eyes shining. She had never seen the Black Tide, only heard of it. The no-flower demon master had seen the Black Tide several times, so he knew more about it. Eternal God Slayer, the no-flower demon master whispered. Eternal God Slayer can deal with the Black Tide? The sky demon venerable frowned. When the Yama Lord gave me Eternal God Slayer, he did not mention this. No, Eternal God Slayer cannot deal with the Black Tide. The no-flower demon master shook his head. You mean, the powerhouse who has Eternal God Slayer can deal with the Black Tide? The sky demon venerable seemed to understand something. Not to deal with the Black Tide, but to completely eliminate it. No-flower demon master corrected again. The Black Tide is impossible to deal with. After the last Black Tide automatically retreated, the dark demon realm went through a period of depression. It was also during that time that the Yama Lord started the magical machine revolution and changed the dark demon realm. Perhaps many demon gods believe that the Yama Lord started the magical machine revolution to use a different method of cultivation to break through the limits of the dark demon world, but at the start, no-flower demon master paused. Yama is doing this to deal with the Black Tide. She wants to create magical machines that can deal with the Black Tide. Only after the invention of the God Slayer did he realize that it could break through the limit. But unfortunately, God Slayer could not deal with the Black Tide. The establishment of the Night Devil King stabilized the group of spatial cracks at that time, greatly reducing the risk of the Black Tide. That's why, under the management of the 9-domain demon gods and the Yama Lord's demonic might, the Black Tide never came. But the Yama King has never let his guard down. Until the birth of the Eternal God Slayer. It made Lord Yen think that he might be able to find a way to deal with the Black Tide once and for all. It's chaos. The Sky Demon Venerable suddenly understood. You said that the Black Tide came because it was a terrifying plane that was born from a dark energy similar to chaos. Yama Lord bound the complete Eternal God Slayer in that chaos to deal with the Black Tide? As long as we can break through that chaos, we can deal with the Black Tide regardless of whether we have the Eternal God Slayer? That's the logic. No-flower demon master raised his eyes slightly. But in fact, only Dai back then might have the power to break through that chaos, because Dai had used some kind of powerful force to temporarily repel the Black Tide. The Sky Demon Venerable understood. Then why did you stop me from going to the Eternal Temple? The Sky Demon Venerable's voice was low. What if he did it? Can the Eternal God Slayer that I have deal with the Black Tide? Yama Lord is a soul demon with great intelligence. She never uses only one method to solve a problem, No-flower demon master said slowly. That Eternal God Slayer is the most correct and reasonable method. But there is a second backup plan. Because Dai left the God realm back then, Yama Lord is not sure if he will return. So, the eternal God Slayer that I have has a way to deal with the black tide? The Sky Demon Venerable was shocked. Yes, otherwise Yama Lord would not have made 2 sets of Eternal God Slayer. Although the set you have is not complete, it still has great power. It can resist the black tide. I don't know the details, but Yama Lord must have left some traces in the Eternal God Slayer, no Flower Demon Master said with certainty. The Sky Demon Venerable knew. This was because of no Flower Demon Master's understanding of Yama Lord. Although Yama Lord and she were very good friends. But he was a peerless expert who had lived for nearly 2 eras, a great demon god. It would not be so simple. No Flower Demon Master's words made the Sky Demon Venerable see another side of Yama Lord. Moreover, as the successor of Yama Lord, there is little hope for the Eternal Temple because Dai Demon God might really be dead. Then you are the only possibility. No Flower Demon Master looked at the Sky Demon Venerable. So, if I don't stop you, who should I stop? Traces, the Sky Demon Venerable muttered a few words. This set of Eternal God Slayer was not complete. To put it simply, this demonic body was the Eternal God Slayer. This demonic body was not a pure soul demon. There was no gender difference, but its appearance was similar to the soul demon. In fact, this was a powerful demonic body built purely from magical machines. It was so powerful that it was no different from a real demon god's demonic body. Even a demon god would find it difficult to discover. Moreover, this demonic body could achieve eternal life in the dark demon world. It was completely unaffected by the dark demon chi. It was the same even if it was cultivating. It was truly eternal. Her soul was only residing in this demonic body. Through slowly adapting and tempering, she completed this Eternal God Slayer. One had to admit that this demonic body provided her with a powerful combat strength bonus. Yama Lord was a genius. The structure of this demonic body was very exquisite, so exquisite that it had surpassed the demonic body of a demon god. What was even more exquisite was that as long as she continued to cultivate and strengthen, this demonic body would also continue to strengthen. The Sky Demon Venerable did not know what the universe was like. However, she felt that this demonic body seemed to contain a universe. Every inch of it hid a world, waiting to be excavated and studied to become even more brilliant and powerful. This was related to strength. Even the exclusive God Slayer could not harm this demonic body. If she could deal with the black tide, then this demonic body might be the only possibility. Let's go and take a look first. At least, let's give it a try. The Sky Demon Venerable looked into the distance, but there was a trace of longing in her heart. Wang Wu, you will never die in the Eternal Temple. If it is true, then this black tide will also be my grave. At the same time, several silhouettes flew over from all directions and turned into a soul demon warrior wearing pitch-black armor. He landed beside Demon Master Wuhua, Night Demon King. Although they were only demon kings, they had the power to resist the dark border. They were the main force to resist the black tide. Several ancient demon words slowly came out from the mouths of these Night Demon Kings. After listening, no Flower Demon Master's pupils shrank. Chapter 1573. What's the matter? Heavenly Demon Venerable was about to set off for the distant horizon of the Abyss Sea Demon region. Seeing this, he could not help but ask, "Things are not good." Demon Master No Flower turned to look in the other 2 directions. His voice became even lower. "We misjudged Demon God Huang Hai. He is not the only one. The 2 demon gods, Seventh Firmament and Primordial Chaos, had already secretly arranged to destroy the Dark Border and let the Black Tide descend before joining forces to attack the Soul Demon Sacred City. How is this possible? Where is the Night Demon King guarding there? Even if they are 2 demon gods, destroying the Dark Border, wouldn't the Night Demon King discover it? Heavenly Demon Venerable was shocked. It's too easy for a demon god to trigger a spatial crack. No flower demon master said in a hoarse voice. As long as they use powerful energy to continuously bombard the space, they can create a large-scale spatial crack group. After a long time, it will form an unstable dark border. Then, it will not be difficult to trigger the black tide. Those three fellows must have been secretly plotting this after knowing that Yen Lord has disappeared. Heavenly Demon Venerable's eyes flashed. These demon gods were really ruthless. No flower, you mean we are now surrounded by the black tide? A demon master stood out from behind. His voice carried a hint of confusion. If I remember correctly, the Chaos Demon region and Seventh Firmament Demon region are close to the Abyss Sea Demon region? Almost. Maybe more. No Flower Demon Master looked at the Demon Master of the Clear Sky Palace. After Yi returned, 4 demon gods of the demon region have either fallen or disappeared. The other demon gods of the demon region, no matter how slow they are, must have heard the news of Yen Lord's disappearance. None of the demon gods of the 9 regions of the dark demon realm are easy to deal with. At this moment, they might be adding fuel to the fire behind the scenes. At this point, no Flower Demon Master finally looked at Heavenly Demon Venerable. There was a hint of desolation in his voice. You decide. After Yen Lord, the Clear Sky Palace will have to go through this calamity. Heavenly Demon Venerable could feel the sorrow in the heart of this demon master who had lived for countless years. After pondering for a long time, she said slowly, "Then let's kill our way out. Black Tide, demonic god, it seems like our heavenly devil Venerable is going to fall in this vast land before he can rise to power. Unfortunately, after the black tide, there is only desolation. The 3 demonic beasts in the desolate sea are really beyond my expectations. Tens of thousands of meters high in the sky. A devil ship that was as tall as a mountain was floating leisurely above the demonic warship, under an umbrella that was engraved with cloud patterns. A burly soul demon was sitting in a rocking chair, leaning on one side and looking at the land of the demon realm in the distance. A few large words were carved on the side of the demon ship. Nanhuang. It was a demonic warship from the Nanhuang demonic region. The Nanhuang demon region, which was also one of the 9 regions, was located at the southernmost part of the dark demon world. Among the 9 regions, the Nanhuang demon region ranked in the top 3. Extremely powerful. As the ruler of the Nanhuang demon realm, demon god Nanhuang was a very unique demon god. Typically, most fiend celestials would not use their honorific titles when naming their infernal domain to avoid confusion. At the same time, he also believed that using honorifics to name the infernal domain was a very shameful matter. At most, he would only use one word to connect the honorific title with the name of the infernal domain. Abyss Sea Demon Region, Demon God Desolate Sea. Chaos Demon Region, Demon God Origin. 7th Night Demon Region, Demon God 7 Firmament. Green Sun Demon Region, Demon God Qing Luo. And so on. After all, fiend celestials had reached a very high level. Even the emperors in the mortal world had to pay attention to their face and image. Although fiend celestials usually did not care about these things, they would not be too high profile either. It was just a token. But demon god Nanhuang was different. Little 8, what realm are we in now? The soul demon on the rocking chair asked the guard next to him. Ahem, well, yin and yang coexist. We should be in the chaos demon region. Look, the sun on the left is the extreme yang, and the moon on the right is the extreme yin. This is the unique phenomenon of the chaos demon region. The guard pointed to the sky. To the south was the scorching sun, while to the north was the gloomy moon. They represented 2 completely different phenomena. When they appeared on the land of the infernal domain at the same time, they formed a kind of stable energy. Among the 9 domains, the Chaos Demon region was the one with the most stable dark demonic energy and space. Oh, the Chaos Demon region. So it's this place. I was wondering why this place was so familiar. That sun, wasn't it me who found it back then? That bastard Primordial is really stupid. He lost all his cultivation to that idiot Huang Hai for a moment. The soul demon on the rocking chair sighed. Even such a stable infernal domain was affected by the black tide. Primordial must have put in a lot of effort. Unfortunately, he made a wedding dress for Huang Hai. Is a mere wisp of demonic energy so important? As a veteran fiend celestial, it was not easy to get the exclusive God Slayer card to rule a domain. What a pity. Little 8, how long has it been since Primordial became the Chaos Demon? It has been 2,320 years. TSK. The Demon God Experience card given by the Yama Lord is at least 10,000 years old. He wasted it in just 2,000 years. What a waste of the Yama Lord's kindness. The soul demon on the rocking chair stood up and looked into the distance. There is no need for demonic energy to break through the demon god realm. It's time. Won't it be done soon? The guard called Little 8 was silent. He thought to himself, when you learned that the demon god Huang Hai got that wisp of demonic energy, you must have been very jealous, Your Holiness. You were not as open-minded as you are now. Little 8, you are silent. Are you criticizing me in your heart? Demon god Nan Huang turned around and glanced at the guard sharply. I dare not. With Your Holiness's talent, even the former fiend celestial is not as good as you. To you, breaking through the demon god realm is just a matter of a blink of an eye. As long as you want, you can break through at any time. There is no need for demonic energy. Although the primordial chaos of Huang Hai is also a fiend celestial, he is incomparable to you, the guard said solemnly. Nan Huang nodded slightly and patted the guard's shoulder. He praised, Little 8, do you know why I picked you out of all the soul demons to be my personal guard? You should know that your strength and talent are the weakest among the soul demons. I don't know. I am also confused, the guard bowed and said. Because you have a rare quality, demon god Nan Huang said with a smile. That is honesty. You always like to tell the truth. The guard was speechless. By the way, those guys should be here soon, right? Nan Huang looked into the distance and smiled with anticipation. I wonder how the heavenly demon's supremacy will break through this trap. Only by begging you will there be a chance, the guard said immediately. Ha. That's right. Only by begging me will there be a chance. Only I, Nan Huang, can save her safely from the black tide. Demon god Nan Huang was overjoyed. He looked down from the sky. As far as his eyes could see, there was only boundless darkness in front of him. Not long after, suddenly, he sensed a pitch-black shadow. It seemed to be passing through the darkness and entering inside. Sigh, there is still someone who is not afraid of death. He wants to break through the black tide and enter the encirclement. Is he that fiend celestial? Nan Huang stared at the shadow and frowned slightly. He had a bad feeling. Chapter 1574. If you ask me, primordial chaos, Qi Shao, and Huang Hai are all gone. The imperial border is long gone. Qing Luo has an extremely good relationship with the Yama Master. However, this heavenly devil venerable only has an ordinary relationship with her. Even if they do have a good relationship, they would not risk the risk of the black tide charging in. Furthermore, it is already good enough that she can protect herself. Demon god Nan Huang pinched his chin as he watched the light figure fly towards the boundless black tide. As for the remaining 3, besides me, the other 3 demon territories, Northern T-Demon Territory. There is no news about that low-key old bastard. But this old man is only respectful to Yama Lord. This heavenly demon supremacy is not worth his help. Demon god Qiongming from Feiqiong Demon Region. He is a new demon god who is closer to Huang Hai. But he is also a new demon god who was promoted by Yama Lord. But this guy is extremely arrogant. Only Yama Lord can convince him. Now that Yama Lord has disappeared from Clear Sky Palace, he is even more arrogant. He should be adding insult to injury. Why would he save this heavenly demon supremacy? Demon God Nan Huang frowned slightly. The last one is Tianying Demon Region, which is the westernmost one. It is very far from Huanghai Demon Region. Demon God Ing He is the most honest of the 9 demon gods. He seemed to be the most honest one. He might have obeyed the demonic god order issued by the heavenly devil Venerable. But Tianying Demon Region is very far from here. It is impossible for him to come here so quickly. Unless Demon God Ing He uses his Demon God secret technique and pays a certain price to come here. But the heavenly demon supremacy is not worth it. Demon God Nan Huang finished cleaning up the demon gods in the 9 regions. He felt that none of the demon gods would rush into the region surrounded by the black current. I forgot. Qi Lingyan, the commander of the demon army in the central demon region. Demon God Nan Huang seemed to remember something. She is second only to me. Almost none of the 9 demon gods can defeat her. But when she left the demon army and Clear Sky Palace, her relationship with this heavenly demon's supremacy should be normal. Demon God Nan Huang could not figure it out. Just then, Little 8 reminded him, "My lord, with your intelligence, how could you forget about Demon God Dai?" Demon God Nan Huang suddenly understood. He patted Little 8's shoulder and laughed. This venerable has long known that it is that Di who is indistinguishable from the real one. I didn't expect you to have guessed it. Not bad, not bad. Di had a close relationship with the Yama Lord back then. Heavenly Devil Venerable is the successor of the Yama Lord. He will definitely save him. However, the black tide is not something that can be forced through. Demon God Nan Huang muttered, "Pass down the order, tell the fleet to stand at the edge of the black tide, and not move forward. At the same time, activate the void mustard mode and don't touch the dark energy in the black tide." Yes, your honor is wise. The 3 vast lands of the Fiend Realm, which stretched billions of miles across, were shrouded in dark shadows at their edges, as if they had been covered by a layer of darkness. Large groups of soul demons formed long lines and were lucky enough to evacuate from the cities covered by the dark tide to other cities in the Fiend Realm. They were afraid of being caught up by the rapidly spreading black tide behind them. The soul demons would never forget the dark tide that had not appeared for a long time, even though it had been many eras. Every soul demon that entered the era of magical machines would receive 18 years of education. The black tide was a textbook apocalyptic disaster. No soul demon dared to take it lightly. If the black tide is so powerful, why is there no actual record of it? Because the soul demons that entered the black tide are all dead. Then, what is the black tide? Is there no soul demon that knows about it? There should be. However, those who know about the black tide have all died in it. Disasters were no stranger to the dark demon realm. As powerful creatures that could survive in the dark demon realm, the soul demons had experienced many disasters. However, the black tide was probably the only disaster that could rise to the level of a universe, because, according to the historical records of the 9 major wormholes in the modern dark demon realm, the black tide did not only appear in the dark demon realm. It had appeared in other worlds as well. There were even records of the black tide appearing in many worlds on the Holy Realm list. However, each world's civilization was different, so the name of the disaster might be different. The nature was the same. The black tide is just ahead. I can't go in with you. I can only take you here. I can sense the aura of several other demon gods. I'm afraid they are secretly doing something. I have to deal with it first. Qi Lingyan and Wang Feng turned into a stream of black light, traveling through space from the northern T-demon realm to here. At this moment, since the black tide had appeared, Wang Feng did not need to worry about the stability of space. He traveled through the void and came from the northern T-demon realm. When they reached the edge of the black tide, Qi Lingyan, who was leading the way, stopped. "Can you do it alone?" Wang Feng paused and glanced at Qi Lingyan with uncertainty. On the way here, through Yen Mingyao's god-slaying terminals that were connected to many other demon realms, he also received the news that those demon gods were ready to make a move. At present, he knew that at least 3 demon gods, namely Nanhuang, Yinghe, and Qiongming, were likely to make a move secretly. Qi Lingyan was only one. That decrepit demon god was seriously injured and did not travel with him. Naturally, he could not be a helper. Behind the demon gods, besides the demon gods, there were also a large number of fleets, demon masters, and demon monarchs, and the number of demon gods who had become demon gods after killing 4 generations of demon god. You don't have to worry about that. Qi Lingyan's eyebrows were sharp and sharp. You should see if you can deal with the black tide, or if you can save that heavenly demon lord. You are much more dangerous than I am, so you should take care of yourself first. You have just gotten the eternal god-slaying, and have not fully understood it. You are not familiar with the functions of the eternal god-slaying. You don't even understand the functions of this divine item. If you die in the black tide, it will be a waste of Yanhuang's efforts. With that, Qi Lingyan turned and left. She turned into a stream of light and disappeared from sight in less than a second. Black tide. Let me take a look. What the hell is this? Seeing that, Wang Feng ignored her. Right now, it was best to find the Bibidon first. As for those demon gods who were causing trouble, he could deal with them when he got out. He just hoped that Qi Lingyan was still alive by then. There is no life on the ground. The dark demon Qi seems to be crushed by a strong pressure. It can't penetrate at all. Wang Feng looked at the black tide in front of him and rushed straight in. Along the way, Wang Feng saw many corpses of soul demons, shadow demons, demons, and other major races. And they were rotting and disappearing at an extremely fast speed. They turned into nothingness. Wang Feng was deep in thought. After entering the black tide, Wang Feng felt it. A powerful pressure surged in from all directions like a tidal wave. This pressure was not directed at the demon body. It was directed at the soul, and at the same time, there was a terrible destructive power. It felt somewhat familiar. End of chapter. Chapter 1575. This is chaos? No. Pure chaos energy doesn't have such stickiness and destructiveness. Wang Fengxin was shocked. The world in the black tide was dark because there was no light. This was very similar to the chaos world. But there was a big difference. When Wang Feng was in the chaos, there was only pure loneliness. Whatever he wanted to do in there was only his soul and the freedom of his demon body. It was just that it was meaningless. In the chaos, everything was nothingness and would be assimilated by the chaos energy. In the world in the black tide, the soul was under great pressure all the time. Wang Feng's current soul was already very strong. After going through the test of the chaos, his soul power had reached a very high level. It was stronger than those demon gods. Even so, he could clearly feel that his soul was very heavy. The side effects were obvious. For demon gods, their strength would be greatly reduced as if their souls were shackled. Apart from that, the situation in the black tide is 70% similar to the chaos world. Wang Feng slowed down. He could not sense anything in the chaos world because nothing was born in the chaos world, so he could not sense anything. But it was different in the black tide. Wang Feng sensed a lot. The original land, the corpses on the ground, and the increasingly dense black tide energy around him. These energies were more violent than the dark demon energy, so violent that Wang Feng did not dare to absorb them with the origin of devouring. He had a hunch that once he used the origin of devouring to absorb the black tide energy into his body, he would be in great danger. This place is indeed not for ordinary living beings. Not to mention other things, Just the fact that it is 70% similar to the chaos world makes it impossible for ordinary living beings to stay here. Once affected by the black tide energy, even demon gods will not be able to escape death. Wang Feng looked around. After entering the black tide, there was only darkness. Although Wang Feng could sense the situation around him, he could not sense the end. It's the aura of the law of origin. There is a special law of origin in the black tide. Once one enters, it is almost impossible to get out from the inside. This law of origin should be set up by those void beings in the black tide? Wang Fengxin walked forward calmly. The black tide spread so fast that there were many soul demons on the ground who had not had time to evacuate. Most of them were not very strong. They were at most high-rank soul demons. Demon lords were rarely seen. After all, at the level of a demon lord, he could avoid many dangers. His speed was also far faster than the other soul demons. Soon, Wang Feng got used to it and began to accelerate. Strange, the situation of the black tide is 60 to 70% similar to the chaos world. Could it be that Yama Lord bound the eternal God Slayer to the chaos world, so that the one who can obtain the eternal God Slayer can resolve the black tide? On the way, Wang Feng suddenly thought of something. That must be it. He quickly adapted to the black tide. If it were any other fiend celestial, they would probably be far inferior to him. Just getting used to it would take a very long time, and after getting used to it, his soul would gradually be unable to withstand the pressure. Most importantly, he couldn't feel the flow of time. This was the most similar point to the chaos world. After walking for some time, Wang Feng finally sensed the demon lord's body. This meant that a demon lord had fallen. The demonic monarch had comprehended the origin. Even in the black tide, he would not die so easily. The only possibility was that a battle had broken out. Wang Feng stamped his foot and sensed the dead demon lord. His demonic body had completely decayed. There was not even a trace of the origin aura. His soul was also left, and there was not even a trace of aura. There was an 80% chance that he had been eaten. There were no traces of battle on the remaining body, and no one knew how he died. Void life, could it be a spiritual body similar to the ghost demon? While Wang Feng was thinking, his soul suddenly trembled. In an instant, several balls of light emitting a purple halo appeared in front of him. Void life. The first time the light appeared in the black tide, Wang Feng was really surprised. However, he couldn't sense the slightest aura of life. That's right, Wang Feng could only see the balls of light in front of him. But he couldn't sense anything. Void, that is, it doesn't exist. But life is an entity that exists in the real world. Void life, that's very contradictory. Before Wang Feng came, he didn't quite understand what this existence was. Even Ghost Fiend was considered a reincarnation of the devil soul, a spiritual life form. Just like the ghosts and immortals in the ancient legends of his previous life. And this should be the most dangerous existence in the black tide, right? It was very strange. He could only see it, but he couldn't sense it. In other words, it existed in his line of sight. But he couldn't sense it with his soul at all. They were not in the same dimension. Wang Feng felt the illusion of his soul being annihilated from these purple balls of light. The balls of light rushed toward Wang Feng, and Wang Feng could see them more clearly. When he got closer, he could see that these balls of light were flowing with magma-like purple liquid. They had no faces. They were somewhat similar to the void life that Wang Feng imagined. However, they seemed to be made of pure energy of the black tide, and only had the basic killing intent. At least Wang Feng could feel the desire to kill. A very low-level life. It doesn't even have the basic consciousness, self-awareness, and wisdom. Wang Feng frowned slightly. But in the black tide, these purple light and shadow beings were emitting a very terrifying aura. What were these things? Wang Feng's eyes flickered, and he released the primordial origin, imprinting the appearance of these light and shadow into the origin model for analysis. At the same time, Wang Feng softly uttered an ancient sound, performing the 8 chaotic sounds to see if he could force them to retreat. These light and shadow beings would not be attacked by the origin model. If it was a pure spiritual attack, it might be effective. The ancient sound was like water ripples, dissipating in all directions. However, the light and shadow beings didn't stop at all and continued to attack Wang Feng. Not affected by any damage? Wang Feng was slightly taken aback. Then, how could he get rid of these void life in the black tide? This wasn't good. For example, the demons in the Tianming River were immune to physical damage, but spiritual damage could cause damage to a large scale. More and more purple light and shadow beings appeared, surrounding Wang Feng in a ring. The shackles on his soul seemed to be shrinking and increasing. Wang Feng frowned. The primordial origin had been pushed to the extreme. The more light and shadow beings there were, the greater the pressure around him. If it were any other demon god, they would probably be on the verge of breaking down. This was too exaggerated. Once surrounded by these void life beings, it was hard to say what would happen. Adapting to the black tide doesn't mean that I can survive it. Eternal God Slayer, apart from the primordial origin, perhaps there is a way to deal with it? Wang Feng pondered. The primordial origin's analysis speed was extremely slow. These light and shadow beings belonged to an unknown type, different from the Pangu axe, which Wang Feng had a great understanding of. So the analysis speed was actually quite fast. But for such a life form that had never been seen before, the analysis speed was not fast. But it was just slow. As long as there was a certain amount of time, the analysis could be completed. Yen Mengyao, when Lord Yen created the Eternal God Slayer, didn't he inject the detailed information of these void life forms into it? Give me a detailed treatment. Wang Feng immediately summoned the Eternal God Slayer. The Eternal God Slayer was now acting as the heavenly Tao in the ancestral realm. It was the source of the ancestral realm and generally couldn't leave easily. But it didn't mean that the Eternal God Slayer had no other uses. On the contrary, it had many uses. As long as he had the information, Wang Feng could activate the primordial origin to analyze faster. No, because these nihility life forms are constantly changing. Yen Mingyao's clear voice rang out. Lord Yen created the Night Demon King to guard the dark border, so he has a lot of information about the black tide. But the dark border and the real black tide are two different things. The Night Demon King only guards the border and doesn't really enter the dark hole plane, which is the source of the black tide. I have seen these void life forms once in a while. But although there is a lot of information, these void life forms are constantly changing, which means that the information is of no use. On the way, Wang Feng and Yen Mengyao had talked about the black tide. Since the Eternal God Slayer was created by Lord Yen, then Lord Yen would definitely back up a lot of important treatment in the Eternal God Slayer. The black tide that erupted in the dark hole plane was a disaster for many worlds, and it was the main research direction of Lord Yen. But this information had very little information about the void life forms. Life forms that are constantly changing. Wang Feng muttered. This can't go on. Yen Mengyao, release the ancestral realm. Since I can't solve it, I will directly use the ancestral realm to compress the space where the black tide is and seal it in the ancestral realm. I can't solve the seal inch by inch. Chapter 1576. Yen Mengyao was taken aback by Wang Feng's idea. However, her heart started pounding rapidly. There was no detailed way to deal with the black tide in the information left by Yanzhu. There was only a way to resist. Wang Feng could adapt to the situation inside the black tide because Yanzhu had connected Eternal Godslayer with the chaotic world. So that Di Yi, who had obtained Eternal Godslayer, could adapt to the black tide and find a way to deal with it. But Yanzhu did not have a way to deal with the black tide. After Wang Feng entered the black tide, Yan Mengyao analyzed the information left by Yanzhu, but even Eternal Godslayer could not find a way. She could only say that Wang Feng would not be swallowed by the black tide. Although Wang Feng could not deal with these void beings, Yan Mengyao could use Eternal Godslayer to make Wang Feng disappear and enter the ancestral realm, to avoid danger. But this was not Wang Feng's purpose. In the black tide, the only origin that could work effectively was primordial origin. Once he entered the ancestral realm, Wang Feng could not use primordial origin to analyze these void beings, let alone deal with the black tide. But now, as the first master of Eternal Godslayer, Wang Feng's idea surprised Yan Mengyao. But thinking about it carefully, it seemed to be possible. Master is master, Yan Mengyao said softly. Your idea is amazing. Thinking of this, she felt a little excited. Master was standing at a higher level to deal with the black tide. He didn't just want to fight back, nor did he want to get rid of these nothingness beings. Then I will try. Yan Mengyao's voice slowly faded. Wang Feng took a deep breath. Whether it was the special energy in the black tide or these void beings, even the demon god could not deal with them through normal means. Otherwise, the dark demon realm would not be afraid. Since he could not deal with it through normal means, he had to find another way. The black tide only covered part of the 3 demon realms. The speed of its spread was extremely fast, but it had not spread completely yet. But the ancestral realm was different. As a new world formed by the chaotic world, the ancestral realm was still expanding, and its area was larger than any of the 9 realms. Wang Feng planned to directly use Eternal Godslayer to mobilize the ancestral realm, compress it, and then seal it. Through primordial origin, it might become an opportunity. But it was the first time for Wang Feng to directly control an entire world. Appear. Wang Feng ignored the purple shadows around him. Even if they surrounded Wang Feng didn't change at all. He raised his palm, and an ancient giant tree grew from the center of his palm. The branches of the giant tree grew upward, and every branch and leaf trembled as if they were stirring the rhythm of the universe, responding to the changes in the universe. In an instant, a terrifying pressure came from the giant tree. Rumble. First, countless law patterns began to flicker around the giant tree, and then rushed to the inside of the black tide. At this moment, Wang Feng sensed the ancestral realm. Wang Feng sensed everything about the ancestral realm, from the laws of heaven and earth to the lives of all things. The Eternal Godslayer, who controlled the ancestral realm's heavenly Tao, transmitted everything about the ancestral realm to him. Although it's just born, what a grand world it is! Wang Fengxin murmured. Pressure came from the ancestral realm. In a newborn world, everything was created from nothing. All of the natural laws and great Taos were determined by the Eternal Godslayer. Ancestral realm, descend. Wang Feng groaned. The runes of rules surrounding the Eternal Godslayer began to surge wildly. In an instant, the vast dark demon realm and the 9 regions shook. A boundless land appeared in the sky, and the space began to collapse from all over the 9 regions. The greatest impact was in the sky above the black tide. Wang Feng's palm held up the sky as if it was carrying the entire world. Countless laws merged at the boundary between the black tide and the outside world. The black tide formed a world of its own with unique laws. But now, as Wang Feng controlled the Eternal Godslayer to descend the entire ancestral realm, the laws of the 2 different worlds began to collide. In the void, countless black wormholes exploded, and countless void beings began to be swallowed by these wormholes. Cracks began to form around the black tide. Shrill screams were transmitted from all around to Wang Feng's soul. Master, it seems to work. Yan Mengyao was very excited. The black tide has just formed, and the interior is not big. The ancestral realm is a newborn world, and its laws and everything are extraordinarily powerful. It can't withstand the descent of the ancestral realm. If this continues, the black tide may be directly compressed into the ancestral realm. She was very excited. Perhaps she did not expect this method to work, because no demon god had ever thought of doing this, and there had never been a situation where the ancestral realm and the eternal Godslayer were combined. One should know that most of the worlds in the beginning of the chaos had not been born. How could there be the eternal Godslayer as the heavenly Tao, guiding the development of the world, quickly customizing the great Tao of the world and synchronizing with the universe? Wang Feng was silent. At this moment, he seemed to be at the center of the universe storm, and his body was surrounded by countless law energy. Those void beings were not affected by any law energy. This was something that even demon gods could not do. From the perspective of life, although these purple shadows did not have a high level of consciousness, they were indeed extremely abnormal existences. Wang Feng could not really descend the ancestral realm directly into the dark demon realm. This would only cause a disaster. The collision of the two worlds would definitely cause endless disasters. But Wang Feng held the giant tree formed by the eternal Godslayer and descended the ancestral realm above the dark demon realm. At the same time, he focused on the black tide and compressed it. It required a lot of effort. Moreover, he also needed to withstand the power of the entire world. To a demon god, a mere world's power was nothing. After all, demon gods could easily destroy those worlds. However, it also depended on what kind of world it was. For example, the dark demon realm they were in was a major world. With the power of a demon god, it was very difficult to hold up this major world. Because in this major world, there was also the power of will brought by endless life. But that was not impossible. And from Wang Feng's perspective, the ancestral realm was stronger than any of the dark demon realm's 9 domains. Stronger than the divine realm. It was just that it had not developed yet. It was not easy to withstand the power of such a world. Countless laws formed a storm and twisted Wang Feng's demonic body. The power of the entire world added to Wang Feng's body, giving Wang Feng great pressure. Vaguely, there was a strange realization. To reach the level of demon gods, one needed to change the origin that one had comprehended to reach the level of being able to change such a major world. Therefore, comprehending each major world and deriving the origin was a necessary homework for demon gods. For Wang Feng, this was also an indispensable part. End of chapter. Chapter 1577. What's above origins? Wang Feng pondered. Origins. The word origins was enough to explain everything. It was the origin of everything, and also the end of everything. Logically speaking, origins meant the focus and limit of life's cultivation. It was just that the intensity was different. The life origins in his body was a very powerful life origins. Such strength could be the result of comprehending many worlds and comprehending origins over countless years. With origins, one could change with a single thought. However, were there more powerful universe forces above origins? Wang Feng felt that there were. Because there were universe-level lifeforms. The mysteries of the universe were endless. Even though his avatar had reached his present level, Wang Feng could only vaguely feel the switch to another level. A Fiend Celestial's origins can change the world. The 9 Fiend Celestials, each have different changes. They are formed by their own changes, changing the 9 domains into great worlds that are most suitable for them. Any Fiend Celestial that trespasses will be greatly affected. However, the Fiend Celestial's origins are unable to truly control the entire Fiend Celestial domain. Otherwise, back when the 3 Fiend Celestials besieged the Soul Demon Sacred City, Qing Luo could have resolved it alone. To put it bluntly, the Fiend Celestial domain they control is the limit of the laws. It is the tenebrous fiend world formed by the 9 domains. And the one who controls the tenebrous fiend world is not Yama Lord, but the creation fiend celestial origins that controls the well of samsara. That is the only true God that controls the tenebrous fiend world's laws. These fiend celestials are at best powerful lifeforms that rely on the tenebrous fiend world. But they can never escape the tenebrous fiend world's laws. If they could not escape the world, fiend celestials could only be fiend celestials. They could not become true chess players. However, from another perspective, the fiend celestials also have many worlds. To those worlds, their fiend celestials are the only true gods of those worlds, and the laws of those worlds are also created by the fiend celestials. With this in mind, Wang Feng calmed his thoughts. He stared at the firmament. The pitch-black world already had light. It was the light of space collapsing and the shattering of laws. The fiend celestials could not resolve the black tide because they were not the true masters of the tenebrous fiend world. Especially a fake world like the tenebrous fiend world that appeared unified on the surface but was actually divided. It was not just the dark demon world. Many great worlds were the same. There were very few that could unify the rules and truly control an entire world. Arriving in the ancestral realm allowed Wang Feng to see the path he had to take in the future. At the same time, outside the black tide, the skies of the 9 zones became incomparably gloomy. Such a spectacle was a first for the dark devil world. However, the demon god knew what was going on. Collision of worlds? Such a vast world, which universe-level life form has descended. On the demonic ship, demon god Nanhuang looked at the sky with cold sweat all over his forehead. As far as the eye could see, at the intersection of the 2 realms in the sky, there were only countless rules touching each other. The real image of the world clearly told him that this was not something that could be achieved by a mere illusion. Even a demon monarch could sense the power contained in that world, let alone a demon god. If one could comprehend the origin, one's perception of the world's power would begin to become clearer. Not to mention the fiend celestials. To be able to control such a huge world and suppress the dark devil world, demon god Nan Huang was in disbelief. This is definitely a universe-level life form. Only a universe-level life form can do this. However, why didn't this world descend? Could it be a warning? Demon god Nan Huang could clearly feel the vastness of this world, because the god-slaying terminal sent him a message saying that there was also a vast land in the sky above the demon realm of Nan Huang. Such a vast land meant that this world was at least half the size of the dark devil world, because the demon realm of Nan Huang was at least 4 demon realms away from this place. This is definitely a warning. Directly using such a huge world to suppress the dark devil world. Once the rules of the dark devil world are shattered, all life forms below the demon monarch level in the 9 zones will be suppressed to death. Even if the demon god is lucky enough to escape, he will be severely injured. Demon god Nan Huang had a fearless demonic heart, but now he was a little afraid. Demon god Nan Huang had rarely seen such a method. Because even if they were to deal with other worlds, they would not use such a laborious and unrewarding method. For a universe-level life form, dealing with the dark devil world was just like dealing with the small and medium planes. It could achieve a certain level of suppression, but it would not be so exaggerated. Using such a method was very laborious. It could only be a warning. Who could it be? There are only a handful of universe-level life forms that have been to the dark devil world, and they have long disappeared. Most of them are just sightseeing and have no grudges against the dark devil world. After all, they are universe-level life forms. Even if they have grudges, they would have grudges against other life forms of the same level. They would not have any grudges against the dark devil world. Demon god Nan Huang shouted, "Little 8, immediately descend the demonic ship. Do not float an inch." "Your Majesty, we have already descended," Little 8 said. "You are very smart." Demon god Nan Huang was slightly relieved. If the entire world was suppressed and he was in the air, The fleet would be destroyed the moment the space rules collapse. Not bad, Little 8 said. Your Majesty, I suddenly remembered what happened in the Soul Demon Sacred City. Do you still remember that strand of demonic energy? And Di who took away the Heaven Styx River? You mean? Demon God Nan Huang gasped. That ancestor demon has descended? That damn demon god Huang Hai. It must be so. That ancestor demon had become a universe-level life form long ago, but he had almost disappeared in the long history of the Dark Devil world. There were very few soul demons who knew about him. But now, retreat, leave this place first. This is definitely a warning. That ancestor demon has descended and used this method to warn us. That Huang Hai guy is done for. It's best if we don't get involved at all and retreat as far as possible. Demon god Nan Huang only wanted to return to his hometown in the demon region and stay in seclusion. What a joke. Who would dare to mess around when such a warning came? Almost immediately, demon god Nan Huang left the demonic ship and left alone. He even traveled through the void as he was afraid that he would provoke them. He was not the only one. Almost at the same time, the remaining 2 demon gods from the demonic domain, who were hiding around the black tide, also left in horror. What is this? Qi Lingyan looked at the sky. She had just sensed demon god Nan Huang's location and wanted to kill him first. She did not expect to encounter such a situation. At the same time, she had the same thought as demon god Nan Huang. That ancestor demon? He has returned to the Dark Devil world? Is it because of that strand of demonic energy? What a joke. No, it could be because of Di. After all, there are only 2 things related to the ancestor demon. Other than that strand of demonic energy, there is also the Heaven Styx River. Qi Lingyan thought for a while, but she could not connect the dots. But she was sure that it was closely related to the guy who had just entered the black tide. The ancestor demon has directly suppressed the Dark Devil world with his great world. Those demon gods hiding in the dark probably only want to protect themselves. They are afraid of getting involved. Qi Lingyan looked at the black tide and frowned slightly. Something is not right in the black tide. Somewhere in the middle of the encirclement. It seems that the situation has changed. Demon Master Wuhua stared at the black tide that was gradually shattering. He only felt a supreme pressure coming from above. At the same time, the world inside the black tide was gradually shattering and the laws were collapsing. A sudden feeling rushed into Bibidan's soul. This feeling, could it be him? She stood there and muttered to herself. Chapter 1578. What? No Flower Demon Master seemed to have heard Sky Demon Master's whisper. I have sensed the king, Emperor. Bibidan said slowly. All of this might be related to him. You're wrong. No Flower Demon Master denied it without thinking. Look at the sky, above the dark demon realm. Such a huge world is pressing down. This should be a great world of the same level as the dark demon realm. To be able to control such a world and force it above the dark demon realm, demon gods can't do it. Look, even the inner laws of the black tide have been shattered by the suppression. The black tide is a universe-level disaster. With our dark demon realm's means, we can only resist it but not solve it. Only a universe-level life form can do this. And if I'm not wrong, this is obviously a warning. A warning to our dark demon realm. Otherwise, this mysterious universe-level life form would not use such means to directly descend upon the great world. Once a great world of this level falls, the 9 regions of our dark demon realm will all collapse. No Flower Demon Master's words made Bibidan frown slightly. Logic told her that no Flower Demon Master was right. The other demon masters of Clear Sky Palace also nodded in agreement. But the premonition was very strong. Previously, when they were in the black tide, even the word front could not give Bibidan any premonition. And as the black tide gradually collapsed, that premonition gradually arose. We'll know after looking for it. Bibidon looked around with sharp eyes. The black tide has collapsed, and those void life forms have been sucked in by the wormhole formed by the space collapse. There's light around, but the energy in the black tide has not completely dissipated. But we can leave first. Her decision was approved by most of the demon masters. Logically speaking, this was the best time to leave. No, we can't leave. No flower demon master pointed to the sky, his eyes solemn. Look, the energy storm in the center that connects heaven and earth. That's a hole torn open by the great world in the sky, containing the energy of countless worlds' rules. The rules inside the black tide are also broken because of this. From what I see, the energy inside the black tide is already void life forms, and will be sucked in through this storm. If we wander around recklessly, it's very likely that we will be sucked in by this storm. At that time, he would be swept into the other party's great world. With the senses of that universe-level life form, it will be hard for us to escape. I suggest that we stay where we are and don't leave. I guess the appearance of this universal life form is due to that strand of demon chi. It coincides with the eruption of the black tide in the demon area of Huang Hai, which created a variable. We can't act rashly. As an old monster who had lived for 2 eras in the dark devil world, his every word was filled with wisdom. Bibidon couldn't deny it. She felt that flowerless demon master was right, because she had also thought of it, but at this time she wanted to find the source of that feeling even more. As for Di, he should still be in the eternal shrine. How could he come out? No flower demon master glanced at celestial demon venerable. I know that your majesty secretly sent a message to demon god Decay, telling him to enter eternal sacred hall and tell him Yama Lord's command. Taking a step back, if the aged demonic god really did it out of respect for your honor, Dai would have appeared. Shouldn't he be in more danger now? You and I both know that he isn't a real emperor. Also, he took the Heaven Styx River. The Heaven Styx River was left behind by that first demon. Now that this one has come to suppress and warn the universe-level life form of Dark Devil World, other than that first demon, I'm afraid there isn't a second one. The demon chi left behind by the first demon in Dark Devil World was taken away, and the Heaven Styx River was taken away. Why else would he warn us like this? No flower demon master's analysis made the other demon masters come to a realization. What if he is related to that first demon? Bibidon wasn't convinced by no flower demon master. Back then in the Soul Demon Sacred City, he said it very clearly. It's just that those 3 demon gods fought to the death and didn't even care about that first demon and directly attacked him. I feel that this should be that first demon coming to Dark Devil World to avenge him. Bibidon waved her sleeves, her eyes filled with extreme confidence. Probably, this was a natural confidence towards that man called Wang Wu. Impossible. No flower demon master shook her head, after the Soul Demon Sacred City, especially before he entered the Eternal Sacred Palace. I confirmed it with demon god Qing Luo. He didn't know about the first demon's deeds. Later on, before the 3 demon gods attacked Soul Demon Sacred City, he asked demon god Qing Luo about the first demon's deed. Hearing this, Bibidon fell silent. If that was the case, then he seemed to be in more danger? He pretended to be that first demon's inheritor, and even took the Heaven Styx River. Do you think that first demon will let him go? Let's not talk about the desolate sea. No flower demon master analyzed carefully. Supreme, I know you have a special relationship with this human who pretended to be demon god Dai, but at this time, you have to think twice. I've thought thrice. I've decided to find him, Bibidon said decisively. She believed in her own feelings. No flower demon master wasn't wrong. She even believed in her heart. But because she believed, Bibidon didn't think Wang Wu was someone who could come to a conclusion through normal logic and analysis. So all of this old man's words were in vain. No flower demon master laughed out of anger. This heavenly demon master's talent wasn't much worse than Yama Lord's, but their personalities were the complete opposite. Yama Lord was decisive, far-sighted, and wise in the dark demon world. On the other hand, this one didn't have any pattern in his actions, but he always seemed to be able to achieve unexpected results. The few times that no flower demon master had the deepest impression, other than the time in the Soul Demon Sacred City, was after Demon God Shang returned. After Demon God Shang returned, he pretended to be injured, and his strength fell greatly. Then, he held a meeting with the demon masters of the 9 regions. At that time, Yama Lord didn't participate, and the one who participated was Heavenly Demon Master. The main topic of the meeting was whether to continue the deity war. At that time, Demon God Shang reported the situation in the deity world, and said that he saw Origin Tribulation Deity King appear. But at that time, to the other demon gods, although Origin Tribulation Deity King was a deterrent, they wouldn't let the deity war stop just like that. Because in the 9 demon regions of the dark demon world, other than Qing Luo demon region, the other demon regions were all participating in the deity war, and the resources and warriors they used were huge. Retreating just like that, and spitting out the meat that was at their mouth, wasn't their dark demon world's style at all. Later, this heavenly demon master killed Demon God Shang, and said that it wasn't a good time to start the deity war, or else the dark demon world would fall into the greatest predicament. At that time, no flower demon master felt that it was a stupid thing to do. No flower demon master felt that Demon God Shang might not be lying, but he was definitely deceived. If Origin Tribulation Deity King really appeared, how could he let Demon God Shang come back alive? Chapter 1579. There was definitely something fishy going on. If a war of gods had started, there was a 99% chance that God World would not have survived. It would have been Dark Demon Worlds. However, Sky Demon Venerable's attitude was firm, and she represented Yama Master. Yama Master had not left Clear Sky Palace yet, so the other demon gods did not dare to object. It was only when Yama Master came out that he praised Sky Demon Venerable for doing the right thing. The reason is simple. We should not have started a war of gods. Origin Tribulation Godly King is not sure, but there is definitely a universe-level life form behind God World. If we had forced a war of gods, we would have been at a disadvantage. Although I do not know how Dong Mei came to this conclusion, she was right. With such a simple sentence, no flower demon master fell silent. After that, the war of gods gradually faded from Dark Demon World's attention. With Demon God Shang's death, Ming Yang Demon Domain changed hands and became Tian Ing Demon Domain. Demon God Ing he took over. This demon god was appointed by Yama Master and Sky Demon Venerable. He was an extremely honest demon god. He was quite trustworthy. However, Ing He Demon Domain was 4 or 5 demon domains away from Desolate Sea, so there was no news. Only a few demon masters knew about it. Among the 9 demon domains, only the demon domain had the fastest flow of information. The distance between the infernal domain and the infernal domain was too great. Only the demon gods were able to receive news of major changes at the first instance. Furthermore, Clear Sky Palace said that Demon God Shang had committed a grave mistake in the War of Gods, causing countless casualties in the Imperial Demon Army. He had committed a grave crime and was sentenced to death. Sky Demon Venerable had decisively killed Demon God Shang, but none of the demon gods had expected it. Now that they thought about it, since you have decided, let's do it. Demon Master No Flower did not stop him. He was only a demon master and could only give advice. He had no right or ability to change Sky Demon Venerable's decision. Bibidon shook his head and said, "No, I can go. Stay where you are. This is my choice, not an order." "Are you looking down on me, Supreme One?" Demon Master Flowerless laughed. You are the successor of the Yama Lord, the Palace Lord of the Clear Sky Palace, and the heavenly demon supremacy of the Central Demon region. If anything happens to you, we will be useless. How will we answer to Yama Master? The other demon masters agreed one after another. Bibidon was a little absent-minded, thinking that he had probably stayed in the dark devil world for many years. Although the nature of these soul demons belonged to the evil camp, they mainly invaded and conquered many wormhole worlds. However, that was only for external matters. As for internal matters, they were ultimately of the same origin. These soul demons were not the only ones. This was the case for all the powerful races in the multiverse. No matter how evil and terrifying a race was, they would still treat their own kind with equal importance. Let's go together then, Bibidon said slowly. At this moment, her body was still that of a magical machine forged by the eternal Godslayer. She was still a soul demon. This body was the only one among them that had a certain degree of immunity to the void life forms. But that was all. This body was driven by a special kind of energy. When Bibidon first saw these incorporeal beings, he discovered that the energy driving them was similar to the energy in the black tide. So in this black tide, she was the only one who could resist the black tide. Bibidon made the final decision. She led No Flower Demon Master and the many accompanying demon masters toward the energy storm in the center. The closer they got, the more they could feel the pressure of the large world in the sky. In particular, the energy storm was densely packed with countless energy rules. These rules formed a kind of resistance with the rules inside the black tide. Every time they collided, countless spatial cracks would be created. The energy inside the black tide was like a tsunami, shaking in all directions. It was like a shocking wave, crashing towards them. This ancestor demon seems to want to crush the black tide directly and absorb it into the large world. No Flower Demon Master sighed. What a powerful means. The black tide that we dark devil world are helpless against is easily absorbed into his large world and controlled by him. A universe-level life form is a more brilliant and great existence than us demon gods who only control a few origins. For most of the life forms in the universe, we are already beyond their reach. A demon master sighed. After all, mastering the origins means mastering the mysteries of the world. You can almost live forever in a world. But in the vast universe, there are still existences beyond our reach. Bibidon was silent. Whether it was those years in the divine world or the years in dark devil world, she felt that the world had become even wider. In her heart, she longed for those wider worlds, the vast universe, but she could not let go of the man in her heart. But fortunately, he finally came. Bibidon exhaled softly. Her expression was indifferent. It was as if she remembered the surprise when she saw that bastard in Soul Demon Sacred City and Tianluo Prefecture. Her feelings then were much more complicated than now. But now, she was more hopeful and worried. She thought she could meet him again in Clear Sky Palace. She did not expect things to change so quickly. These energy principles are not too dangerous for us. What is worth paying attention to is still that ancestor demon. As long as he does not attack, the storm formed by these energy principles will not cause any fatal damage to us. Bibidon collected her thoughts and boosted everyone's morale. Although you are not demon gods, you are still demon masters. You will not die so easily. What's more, that great world has not been completely suppressed. When we reach the center of the storm, you are not strong enough. There is no need to get close. I will go and check it out myself. She was not completely sympathetic to them. But she was afraid that these guys would hinder Wang Wu was not a soul demon from Dark Devil World. If he really appeared here and coincided with the arrival of that ancestor demon, as Demon Master No Flower said, it would still be very dangerous for him. Although she was worried, Bibidon felt extremely happy and sweet thinking about it. After all, Why else would he take the risk to come to the black tide? Thinking of this, a surge of power surged from the bottom of her heart to her whole body. But she was still calm and moved forward slowly, until she was only a few kilometers away from the storm. All of a sudden, the great world above suddenly pressed down. A terrifying pressure descended from the sky. Countless storms spread out in an instant. The area covered by the black tide seemed to be cut apart and began to float. What's going on? In an instant, Demon Master No Flower and the other soul demons were shocked. This ancestor demon probably wants to take the land covered by the black tide into the great world. Bibidon held her breath. We can't move forward. No Flower Demon Master looked at Sky Demon Master and said in a deep voice, if we move forward, we might not be able to find that DE. But once we enter the great world of the ancestor demon, I'm afraid we will be in an extremely dangerous state. A great world ruled by a universe-level life form, it was needless to say how vast and mighty it was. For a powerhouse like them, in such a great world, it was probably not much worse than those mortals who entered their world. Now is the best time to evacuate. No Flower Demon Master looked around. The laws inside the black tide have been completely shattered. Except for the energy that has not poured out, we can easily leave the black tide. However, Bibidon did not hesitate and shook her head. You all leave. No Flower Demon Master paused slightly. While hesitating, the land was overturned. All the vast land covered by the black tide was uprooted along with countless energy in the black tide. It flew directly toward the vast world in the sky. At this moment, countless gazes looked at this scene in shock. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.